Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome in, y'all. Hallelujah. Bless y'all and shalom. Welcome in. Hopefully, all is well with y'all. Let me make sure that I'm checking the volume on my microphone real quick. Because, man. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Warsheep podcast. Listen, today we got quite a bit of information we need to go over. I really need to talk to my fellas here today. I really need to talk to us as a people here today. I need to also present quite a bit of information that, honestly, I know that we talk about a lot of the issues that come forth from a particular sector of ministry, but I'm going to provide a few solutions for those out there who are still interested, not only in community living, but just in your own family, in the way you should structure your family, your household, things that I've learned over time that'll be very beneficial to you all. But we got more to dive into in regards to not only Kabeer Gbaja-Biamila, we also have to dive into this guy, Dowell, Charles Dowell Jr. You know, Charlie, aka Charlie, aka don't do well, aka don't know no good. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to have to dive deep into these topics here today because, here at the Warsheep podcast, we like to shed light on things. Because light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and that patience creates unity. So let's get unified in the spirit, y'all.
Is the sheep preaching hate? It says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. Somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. The ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. But first, let's start with some shout outs. All right, so all my righteous alpha men, drop a ram in the chat for me, please. And all my elegant women who is exceptional, drop a sheep in the chat for me, please. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling, y'all. Let's go ahead and do some shout outs, man. Y'all active in the chat real early, man. I like to see it. Brother Chris Briggs, welcome in. Get to see you in this thing. My brother, get to see you. We got the ram in the chat. Brother Odell, welcome in. Get to see you in this thing. Welcome in and salute to you, brother.
Carry on.
And carrying on. My brother, Yoga, welcome in this thing. Good to see you in this thing. And salute to you as well, my brother.
Carry on.
And carrying on. All right. Seasons to Journey, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Mama Shay, my mother, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Hallelujah. Let me make sure. Boom, boom, boom. My brother Tony, welcome in, brother Tony. Good to see you in this thing. Shalom to you as well. Brother Crypto 7, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Good to see you. Bless you. Good to see you. Sister Angelica, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you. Salute and shalom to you as well. Brother Cloud, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Salute to all the righteous.
Carry on.
And carrying on. My brother TJ, welcome in, my brother. Welcome in. Bless you and shalom, shalom. Got the Rams in the chat. Got the Ewees in the chat. Mama Clay, welcome in. And salute to you, Mama Clay. Sister Angelica, welcome in. Get to and salute.
Carry on.
Salute to you all. Bless you, and shalom, shalom. All right, we're going to get this ball rocking and rolling, y'all. I just really want to start this thing off with a bit of dialogue, having a conversation. Listen, my thing is this, right? There's a lot of individuals, right? Washing on your face now. Yeah, we're going to keep it on the neck because a lot of rhetoric is coming out there that's very, very sketchy. You already know it. Bless you. Dipper down, dripping in. Absolutely. So my thing is this, y'all. We got people out here just talking. And you know how it is, honestly, we don't have a thing as to where us men, you know what I mean? We need to have that warrior spirit, the understanding of a warrior spirit, the understanding on we need when it's time to address something, when it's time to address controversy, when it's time to address issues publicly, having that fire, that zeal. You understand what I'm saying? It's all but lost in the generations that we see. It's all but gone, depleted. My thing is this, right? When we are doing what we're doing and we are exercising what we need to do, as the Bible describes us to do, as nature, laws of physics, we all know when men get into conflict. Now, ladies, you got to understand, this is a tidbit for you all as well, just coming from another man, for you guys to understand us men better. I'm going to get into this so you guys can have an understanding as well. However, I'm speaking to my men. When we get into certain conflicts as men, when you see somebody, if they are a threat or if they're not a threat. If they're a soft target or if they're not a soft target. You'll know exactly who they are. So once you approach them in conversation, you'll know what to do and what not to do biologically. In your flesh, in your blood, it'll automatically tell you how to approach this man in conversation. You'll know if you'll be able to approach him aggressively or if you need to approach him with wisdom or with a little bit of patience. You understand what I'm saying? Because we know for sure, us men, things can get violent real quickly. You understand what I'm saying? Once we've reached a point where there's no return, once there's a line that has been crossed, that things can get violent really quickly. You can get hit. It's just that simple. You understand what I'm saying? So when you approach a certain man, you see his stature, you see how he moves, you see how he carries himself. You would approach that man a little bit differently when you see him, right? As opposed to someone else who may look like a soft target. So we got to understand this. This is being facts and this is being truth. You understand what I'm saying? Now, we do have that rare group of men, that different type of sect that has that warrior attitude and spirit to no matter who it is, however they need to address the individual, it'll be met in that capacity. Regardless, if it needs to be met, it needs to be met, right? But first, we always have that universal understanding that violence is always a possibility whenever addressing another man. My thing is this, right? When individuals try to place labels on you as a man and try to say things like rejection, bitter, whatever it may be, right? My thing is this. They don't know you well enough to understand who you truly are. These are some of the accusations that's been thrown out there, right? Now, my thing is this, right? I think it's laughable. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the simple fact that they don't understand me as a man. They don't understand who I am. So I wouldn't expect for them to know, right? I'm talking since a child. I've always been the type of young man who could either kick it with you or I'm totally fine with just kicking it with me and the Most High, finding something for me to do. You understand what I'm saying? So rejection has never been anything that has been a thing for me. You understand what I mean? I've never received the spirit of rejection, and I believe that I'm going to encourage you all, if you're dealing with the spirit of rejection, or if someone's trying to put that label on you, or as men, a spirit of rejection does not fit us. It does not fit our lifestyle. It does not suit who we are and who we need to be and who we need to show up. How we need to show up as men in our own families, as leaders in our own household. Rejection cannot be present within our spirit, our soul, and our very being. You know why? Because there's too many individuals who may count on you for you to be dealing with feelings and emotions of rejection. Rejection can pull you into deep depression. Life is all about what for men? What is life all about for men? It's about the struggle. How much did you suffer as a man? How much suffering have you done? How many things have you been through and made it out in one piece? If you lift if you lived a soft life as a man, I don't trust you. If you lived a cushiony life, a plush life, a life that's just for delicate hands, for well manicured men, you understand what I'm saying? I personally would find it hard to trust you. Here's the reason why. The reason why is because when faced upon hard times, weak men who've never been through anything in life will create even worse times. They will make the situation and matters 10 times worse than what it should be. But men who have suffered, literally, who have went through pain, who have went through struggle, you understand what I'm saying? Who have saw true battle, warfare, have conquered demons, and able to be strong enough to tell their own story. Listen, these men are the men you can stand shoulder to shoulder with, toe to toe with, go into business with, because they understand struggle. They understand suffering. You understand what I mean? The men who can relate to the only, superheroes like Batman, who has this deep struggle, right? Losing his own family, suffering. That's all he knows for him. That's all he was birthed from. Same thing with us as men being birthed. That is like a rite of passage. How much suffering did you have to go through and pull yourself out of? That's what tells me if I can trust you or not. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing else really. That's the start of beginning of building a foundation of trust. But if you've been plush, if you've been living a good life, high on the hog, if you haven't been through anything, if nobody falsely accused you of crimes and thrown you in jail, right? If you haven't seen jail cells, right, with no crimes committed, right? You understand what I'm saying? If you have not seen hardships really true, then I think it's best for you to stick to what you know. Stick to what you know. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's the suffering, it's the hardships that make the men. Simple as that. It's the warrior spirit. And if you ain't been through shit, then you can't speak on it. You know why? Because the warrior spirit is not within you. You haven't had any opportunities to test and try yourself. You don't know what you would do in a firefight. You don't know what you would do in a flight or fight situation. You don't know if you're going to be the one to tuck tail and run and allow your woman to handle the situation and matter, or if it's you who's going to step up. You know why you don't know? It's because you've never been tested or tried in the area as a man. You understand what I'm saying? But the moment you've been tested and tried in the area of will you stand or will you run? How bold are you? How brave are you? You understand what I'm saying? Because we know that the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous is as bold as a lion. Not only that a righteous man will fall 7 times and get back up. It's not the mere fact that he failed. You understand what I'm saying? It's the mere fact that he continued to rise to the occasion. How many times did you fail once and then you just gave up and walked away from a project and it never came to its full totality? It never came to completion. It never materialized. That defines you as a man. It defines everything that you are. How many times have you started and stopped and never came back to finish? That defines you as a man. It is the pure definition of who you are. How many times? How serious about life are you? How disciplined are you? Do you care about your own body, your own vessel enough to really focus on honing in on building this avatar, which is you? Or are you too busy building an avatar on a video game, playing PS5? Which one are you busy doing? When you're building your own personal avatar, you're going to the right fitness channels. You understand? You're going to the right hand-to-hand combat channels. You're making sure you're equipping yourself with more knowledge. When you're doing stuff, you're challenging yourself on a greater level every day, daily. You understand what I'm saying? You're finding another way to challenge yourself. Consistency, staying consistent with something that will benefit your life, improve it, increase it. What are you doing? Define yourself as a man. And I'm not telling you this so you can feel bad about yourself. I'm not telling you this so you can beat down on yourself. I'm telling you this because of the simple fact that I want you to be better than what you are right now. I want you to be better. I want you to be stronger. I want you to be faster. I want you to be more motivated. I want you to be more encouraged. But you can't do it with a loser mindset. You can't do it with a mindset of trying to accomplish something, right? You start it and you use the word try. I'm going to try to do this, but you go and do what? You try, meaning you have a mentality. You have a possibility of failing. You understand what I'm saying? Removing all doubt from your mind is so important as a man. You know why? Because you cannot fail. If you fail, then that means you fail many. Now, there's nothing wrong with failing. How many times are you going to fail and just quit and never try again? You understand what I'm saying? Not only that, where's your drive? Where's your grit? Where are you at? Y'all going to think this, right? To be really strange, okay? But when I'm driving, and I know I'm going to be driving around the city for a long period of time, I'm talking maybe an hour plus. You know what I do? I let the back of the seat all the way down and I lay it flat, almost as though I'm going to lay down in the car. Because I already know that nobody can have my back better than I can. Not even a damn car seat can be able to have my back as well as I can. I need to have my own back. So while you're driving around, do you think about your posture? Do you think about the level of your spine and how cushioned it is and how comfortable it is? How strong is your spine? How strong is your back? Can you have your own back regardless of anything? Knowing that you can stand alone, right? Just working on your posture. Not only does it increase your confidence, it increases other individuals' respect levels for you. It makes you stand out in the crowd when you've worked on your posture and you have a strong back. Or is your lazy ass too busy with back support? And you know you got to drive around the city, right? When you have that back of the seat down all the way and you supporting your own spine, your own back, you get to really see, are you a wet noodle? Do you have a real backbone? Or is there a real spine there to keep you upright? You understand what I'm saying? Or are you just comfortable, complacent here in Zion? And it says that there's a woe on you. Woe unto those who are at ease in Zion. Great opportunity for you to work on your back. Why don't you let the seat and don't trust so much in the seat, right? Let that back of the seat down and you start to hold your own back up. Start to work on your own posture as you drive around. Rely on your own spine, your own backbone, or you can continue to be comfortable and continue to be lazy as shit. It's either one or the other. Which one would you want to choose to do? Work on your posture or be lazy as shit. You understand? These are some of the things we really got to consider and think about, right? Because when we are putting ourselves through these trials and we are molding ourselves, we got to know that times will come where we have to stand and rise to the occasion. As you hear more and more rhetoric, right, that's leaning more towards war. You understand what I'm saying? You as a man, you got to be what? You got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Keep yourself motivated. Keep yourself encouraged, right? It's time to stop losing, taking L's. This year is time to start winning. It's time to start winning, having a winner's mindset, understanding that nothing can be able to stop you. You're driving for what? For utmost success. Ultimately, so you can be able to give a testimony of success, right? That not only the Most High Yah granted you this level of drive and grit, right? But also that you put the work in. Let's get into this thing real quick, y'all. My thing is this, right? Us men, we gotta know how to be perspicacious, how to be perseverant, how to be strong. It's all about the level of suffering you go through. How well can you suffer and still push forward and still move forward? You understand what I'm saying? That's what truly defines you. That's what defines the level of love you have for your people. That's what defines the level of love you have for yourself, for the Father, is you considering the ant thy sluggard, right? And if you're slothful, then how can you ever consider the position of the ant? If you're slothful, then that does not translate into you truly loving anyone other than yourself. You can't love your family if you're not willing to put in the work, the hard, gritty work, and to be sure that they're provided for, to be sure that they're safe, to be sure that they're loved, whatever it may be. If you're not willing to put in the work, then how can you truly say that you love them? Because that's what equates love. With a woman, it doesn't matter what the situation is. If you are not putting in the work, if you're not staying up those late hours to make sure that you get things done, if you're not putting in that hard labor, then that does not equate that you love her. She can't equate that to love. You say, oh, go to say, hey, I love you. What do you do all day? You're on Xbox. What do you mean love me? She didn't register that as love. You understand what I'm saying? The moment you are working hard, the moment you are consistent, the moment you are driving, then it hits different when you go to her and say, hey, I love you. Because guess what? She's going to know you mean it, because she sees your efforts. She sees your consistency. She sees the amount of labor you put in. How much do you truly love your family? If you're too concerned about you being cushioned, if you're too concerned about you playing Xbox or PS5, you understand what I'm saying? You don't love nobody but yourself as self. And that's just facts. You understand what I'm saying? That's just facts. But we're going to get into this thing, right? We're going to get into 10 powerful reasons why it's best to live in a community that is controlled by a trust before we actually get into our topics for the day. I put together this bit of slideshow, right? Because I think it's going to be very beneficial for us to see, like, something that is going to that a model that is geared toward the people more than geared toward just one individual. We know that there's a problem when it comes to formats of people who just want to have full control, who want to have full control over the community, right? And so they are the ones who's taking what everybody's producing. They're taking the youth from them. So there are younger years of what they can do to produce for their own families, right? And their own family structures and leave behind a legacy. They're stripping that away from them in a tyrannical format of community. In a tyrannical format of community, they're stripping that away from them completely. The wealth, the amount of income that they put into these communities, right? When they're working a 9 to 5 or they're bringing in money through business. You understand what I'm saying? How much of this wealth is being siphoned and drained from them to put it into another man's pocket, right? This is what happens when you're having a tyrannical rule. But I'm going to go over what happens if it is a playing field where the people are fully involved. You understand what I'm saying? There's powerful ways, right? When it's controlled by a trust and not by a foundation. We're going to go over that real quick and we're going to dive into the next thing. Y'all already know this is finna be fire. So y'all want to stick around for this one to the end because it's not that long. It's only a few slides, y'all. All right. So we got to understand the difference, the different types of trustees, right? Because this is a trust structure. Okay. We're going to go over the trust structure and the different types of trustees. Now, you do have a managing trustee. This trustee manages the trust. The trustee manages the trust. And when it manages the trust, it makes sure that it observes everything that's going on within the trust. What assets are coming in? What assets are going out? Where are the investments going? These are things that's really important when it comes to a managing trustee. His job is important as a great support system, right? As a great support system. But he also is the one who's like an overseer for the people, for the beneficiaries, right? And that's the people. That's typically the people, right? He's the overseer. He has oversight. And that is his dereliction. That is his duties as managing trustee, is to be sure he carry out his tasks. He carries out his duties. He has an obligation to the trust to do so. And so since this is formed through contract and we're living in a contract law society, him carrying out his obligations should never be hindered, right? Because it's contractually formed. So this is great checks and balances between all three. We got a managing trustee, an executive trustee, and also the treasury trustee. Now, the treasury, of course, he's going to oversee all the finances. He's going to see what's coming in, going out, and where's the finances going? Where's everything? He's just making sure the finances are taken care of. The same thing, whatever it may be for him, right? He might have skills of a CPA, or he might be a accountant. You understand what I'm saying? His job is just to handle finances. And so you really just want that man to be able to really oversee that. And his duties is to the finances and the financial stability of the trust. If he ever breaches his contract there, if he ever breaches it, then of course he can be dealt with accordingly, according to the trust and the rules of the trust, right? And then an executive trustee. Now, this is the man who produces. He's the individual that produces. He acquires the assets. He acquires the businesses, whatever he needs to do to keep the trust growing and flourishing and thriving. Not only that, typically he is the lead in the trust. He's the one who is overseeing. And if anything needs to be handled, any final decisions that need to be made, the executive trustee is the one to make them, and he's the one to handle them. Now, this does not give him sole rule. Does not give him sole power. This gives him the ability to make decisions. And if he starts to act outside of it and abuse his authority, then he can also be held fully accountable, not only by the managing trustee and the treasury, but also by the beneficiaries of the trust. Everybody who's involved in this trust can hold the executive trustee accountable for his actions. You understand what I'm saying? They all have singular rights to be able to form questions or to raise oppositions, not only in the court of law, but also, of course, within their own private set. Okay. So this is what would be a balanced structure. You almost can model it after the three branches of government. Okay. The judicial system. So, but we all know that this all can also be corrupted with absolute power. So let's not neglect that. Let's not ignore the fact that it still can be corrupted. That's the reason why the power shifts to the beneficiaries of the trust, because if they identify that any one of these three trustees, okay, are operating outside of their duties, their roles and responsibilities and obligations, then the beneficiaries can hold each one accountable for their actions. So the people have control within the trust. The people have control within the land. The beneficiaries are the true owners of not only properties, but assets and all of that. Okay. Now, we're going to go over a few different types and then also, of course, let you guys know how this thing is structured. Accountability and oversight, right? A trustee structuring requires trustees to act in the best interest of the beneficiaries, the community, right? Reducing the chance of self and tyrannical leadership. There's built-in oversight that protects the community's rights. So it shifts the power mostly to the people. You understand what I'm saying? It shifts it mostly to the people. Now, these people's job is to advance the trust. Meaning whatever the community needs is to provide that, to advance it forward, to make it as successful as they possibly can make it, right? Whereas the people, they are the ones who are the judge, the jury, the executioner. You understand what I'm saying? So stability in community. Unlike individuals who can die, sell the property, or change their mind, a trust offers long-term stability. The trust lives, and even if individual members leave or pass away, keeping the community intact. So this can be passed down from generation to generation. Not one sole man can be able to make a decision to sell off assets, to do anything that will affect or harm the trust, right? And the trustees are the beneficiaries within the trust is also going to be harmed. You understand what I'm saying? That's another thing that we have to understand, right? Shared ownership. not not dictatorship. Now, this is shared ownership and not dictatorship. When a single person owns everything, others are essentially tenants, right? When a single person owns everything, other people are essentially tenants within that land, right? And a trust power is what is divulged to everybody, right? No one person can has the ability to affect everything within the trust, right? You can't evict people who are within that trust, who hasn't been properly vetted or hasn't been properly ruled without actual due process. You understand what I'm saying? Or oppress anybody, any others, right? Without that due process, without actually hearing out the matter, right? Without going through the biblical process of hearing out the weightier matters and all the rest of the stuff, right? Without going through it, you can't do that. There's no dictatorship, right? You know what I'm saying? So it makes you have to rely on the process that's outlined within the scriptures of bringing things before the people. You understand what I mean? Bringing things before the people if your brother does not hear you in witnesses, right? So we got to hit all three steps when we're doing it through trust, right? So to manage that thing collectively. These are some of the things that's really important within the trust. So when we're doing this, right, the legal protection of assets, trust held property is protected from personal lawsuits, right? So even if somebody is being in civil litigations, right, not one person is going to have their assets removed, right, or seized or whatever it may be, right? It belongs to the beneficiaries. So that's not a possibility. So we're protecting our assets, right? Fairness and transparency is within this, right? A trust must operate under defined rules. Easier a successor planning. Okay, a trust ensures that the leadership in land stewardship can be passed down from one generation to the next. Now, of course, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to community buy-in, right? You got to vet the people that you're going to be adding to your trust. You got to vet them first. Before you add them, you got to be sure that you vet them. You got to put them through a trial period, and then you can add them as a beneficiary or trustee, one or the other. It really just depends on what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's one of the biggest things. Now, our beneficiaries, of course, are the women. It's the women and the children. That's the beneficiaries. They're the legal owners of that particular of those assets within the trust. So the best way to really structure it is to go ahead and structure it through community, through trust. That's one of the best ways to do it. It's a very versatile way to do it. And it's very possible to be able to get it executed like that. And then shifting the power not only to the people, but also to the trustees who are going to work to propel the community forward and doing their jobs. And any of them to be found in dereliction of duties, the beneficiaries, right? Could be men, children, women, they can be able to hold them fully accountable for those dereliction of duties. You understand what I'm saying? With the right leadership, right judgment, and the right plan in place, it'll be very effective. Just wanted to go over that real quick before we dive into our main topics, y'all. Hopefully that was a benefit to you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that tidbit of information, right? Because listen, we're not here just to talk about the nonsense. We were also here to actually be educated. Now, one thing that I want to do, right, is I want to get into something that struck me as very odd, right? We're going to move on to the next topic of the day. Something that struck me as very odd, and that is Kabeer Gbaja-Biamila. Some of the things that I've noticed about Kabir, some of the things that I've witnessed and heard in his recent video that he just put out, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for you guys real quick, is very alarming to me. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why I say it's alarming is because I can't identify where mercy, where love, where compassion, where any of these things that Yeshua taught is coming into play based on his conversation and his rhetoric. You understand what I'm saying? I can't see where it comes into play. it's actually pretty it's quite like daunting to sit here and witness. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and let this thing play real quick. I'm thinking I got a timestamp here, right? I'm gonna go stick with the timestamp 2556, but I want to start this from back here and allow him to go into his story. Let's go ahead and listen in to what Kabir had to say. You already know, Mr. Gave Me Life had quite a bit, to say about Dowell and bigging him up and doing all this mooching and all of this gobbling that they be doing over there.
Nigga, I'm Mike. You lying ass nigga. What are you talking about? Where's Nick? This is where
All of this gobbling that they be doing over there. You understand what I'm saying? They be doing the most. But you got to listen in as to what he's saying and how he's presenting this information. Let's go ahead and do that real quick.
And remember that tree for what it was, instead of looking at what the tree is producing to determine if it's a good tree or a bad tree. And so in Yah's word, he clearly says, let me just go here in 1 John 2:18. And I hope to be back, soon, guys, sooner than later. But right now, like I said, we're really short staffed, but we're working through that stuff. But there's a lot of great, as I look up the scripture, there's a lot of good stuff out there. We got obviously Pastor Dowell with the Straight Talk with the Shabbat service. So please tune in to those. We got Lion Den. We got Ask the Elect. We got even Brother Hebrew Ellis. He's from the Straitway Arc. He's doing a good work. So there's a lot of things, and I think they're going to get sister. I don't know how they're going to get that going, but I know there's where their Mother Carol is going to be doing that. So I look forward to seeing that come back. But anyway, I want to share this. This is in 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. It says, little children, in the last hour, as you have heard that the anti-Messiah is coming, even now, many anti-Messiah have come. This is how we know, keyword know, that this is the last hour. They went out from us. Listen, they went out from us, but they were not of us. So there were people who were with us, but they're no longer with us. They went out from us. Literally, they didn't get kicked out. They went out from us. For if they had been of us, they would have stayed with us. They would have stayed with us. But in order that it might be manifest that none of them were of us. So all the people that you see leaving was never of us, because if they were, they would have no doubt stayed with us. And so when you look at the fruit, don't get caught up in the name, the reputation that they had once when they were with us. But once they leave, they have identified who they really are, that they're not children of Yah, but children of Satan. The book says, if you put your hands on the plow and look back, you're not fit for the kingdom of Yah. These are true. So why do I bring this all up? I had this crazy experience today, right? And today, one of my women was about to go out the front door. And she was going out the front door to take some of the seeds to go out and play. She looked and saw a black car in front of our driveway, but it's far, because we have 18 acres here, but it was outside the gates. And it looked like a light-skinned young man. So obviously, there's not a lot of light-skinned young men running around here unless they're part of this community, because I live in a predominantly white community. So, and then obviously we have people here on this community. When I say community, I'm talking about the heathen, that when you leave these gates. Anyway, I went out, checked it out, make sure that, if there's any concern. So I went out and I was walking down the exit driveway. We have an entranceway and like a loop. And we have an exit. So I was walking down the exit because that's where she saw the car. So anyway, I went down there and she said it was a black car. And then a black car came across our in front on the street and was going. She said, that's it. But then I see another black car parked a little in front of our entryway. So I walked over there and I don't see the car. There's no one in the car that I can see. Not that I can see that well, but there was no one in the car. And then all of a sudden I see somebody walking in the woods. And it was a light-skinned young man, hue-skinned, black hair, and very tall and lanky, very lanky. So obviously I'm thinking like, I wonder if this is one of my sons. So anyway, he was walking through the wood. As he was walking through the woods, I was walking now on the entrance driveway. And I'm walking along, and I'm actually dressed in the same color, so maybe I'm blending. There's a lot of trees and everything. And as he was walking in the woods, I'm walking on the pathway, but just walking slow, not making, bringing any attention. And then all of a sudden, he's looking opposite of me. I'm looking at him, but he's looking away from me. So I don't know if he sees something, hears something. So he gets to a spot and he ducks. And so I duck. I don't know why he's ducking, so I'm ducking. And then after that, I called out to him and I said, "Who's there?" And when I tell you guys, the reason why I want to share this story because it just blew me away. I said, "Who's there?" As soon as he heard my voice, this tall, lanky boy, jumped. And I'm talking about, like, if you ever in this area, we have a lot of deer in this area. And when they get startled, they just boom, 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 they jump and they get out. This young man literally leaped, pop, 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 jumped, went into the woods. I mean, it was going towards the street, going towards the car that was parked in the streets, trying to open it as fast as he can, open it, got in the car as fast as he can, and put the foot to the metal and whoop, took off. And I can see the whole thing. I'm like, hey, who's that? Who's that? And he takes off. And then I'm thinking to myself, it looked like one of my sons. Now, I haven't seen a lot of my, I've seen my eldest one. I know two of them came up here recently when I was for Passover. And they weren't, we were out of town, so they just did it. But this one came, I don't know who this one is. I can't tell you. I'll be guessing. It has to be one of the four. That's all I can say, because this one has had the ability to drive a vehicle. So anyway, so then I came in thinking like, wow, that is so odd. Like, wow, what? Like, I've actually seen people on this land, children in my 15, how many years now? It's 2002, it's 2010, so 15 years. In my 15 years living on this land, we have had people who've trespassed this property before. And I mean, little children playing around. And when I see them, I normally would just say, hey, wait, they get caught, they get startled, but they don't run. They say, oh, we were just doing this. That's okay. Hey, well, don't be playing around here, or okay, well, just next time, just get permission or whatever. But I've never in the 15 years have seen people, a young man like this who actually literally flee with no one pursuing him. Like literally he was running like he saw a ghost. And it came to my mind. I was thinking of Proverbs 28:1. The wicked or the wrong flee when no man pursue it, but the righteous is bold as a lion. This is what I was thinking. Like, man, so look, I mean, so obviously he was doing something wrong. He reacted that way. So anyway, so I'm on the phone. I was talking to a guy that from when I was growing up, a guy that I used to hang out with our house or whatever. And I was telling him, I said, man, I think I saw one of my sons. I think he came out here on the land. And but he took off. And he said, let's put our differences aside. He's a Christian, and he says, I'm a Hebrew. And he started to say, let's just talk about your son. Let's just talk about, bless you guys, bless you, Brother TJ, bless you all. Bless you, sister here. So I was talking to him, and he starts saying that your son heard your voice. And I just started saying, ooh, he just kept going. And I said, heard my voice. And I'm thinking, I just experienced a Genesis 3 experience. Let me read it. And I'm gonna put a little bit of my story in here. Can I read from here? So I can kind of look at you guys and not. So Genesis chapter 3. I'm looking at this stuff, and it just, and I can tell you how I feel as a father. Obviously, believing that's one of my sons that was out there, right? So in Genesis 3, let me go here and let me read here. Genesis 3. I think it starts off with Genesis. Let's start off here. Hold on. Oh, Genesis 3:8. And this is what it says here in Genesis 3:8. It says, and they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking about in the garden. It literally, guys, today we had an overcloud. It was cool outside. What's the temperature? Okay, it says 82, but we had an overcast. And because of all the trees, it created a cool breeze. Like, guys, I'm not making this thing up. I cannot make it felt cool. It was just because, when you're under trees and you have a lot of trees and everything, it creates like a natural air conditioner type of feel. So I'm here walking in the woods. Now I'm outside the woods on the road, but I got trees all around me. He's in the woods, right? And I'm thinking, he heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking about in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam, his wife, hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim among the trees of the garden. And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, where are you? That's the thing I said, who's there? Right? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid myself. And he said, who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the tree that I ate, and I ate. And Yahweh said to the woman, okay, I'm gonna stop right there. So this is what I'm experiencing in real time. I'm thinking like, wow, this is a son. If I was to call DeAndre right now, DeAndre could be in the woods doing something he's not supposed to do. And I can say DeAndre or Joseph. I can call one of my seed right now that lives with me, and they may get startled because they're doing something they're not supposed to, but they're not going to take out. When I say take off, I mean, I can only imagine where he got his genetics, because he was like a deer. Like I'm talking about, he took off like a deer. He was running for his life. Couldn't even open the door right. He was so scared. And jumped in, and I'm talking about, I don't know if the car was already running, put his foot to the metal and took off. Took off. But if I call one of my sons right now, they wouldn't run, they would come to me. And we will talk, we'll have a conversation. This one took off. I'm saying, what? This is a son that once lived on this land with me. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to say the name, but this is one of the sons that truly did love me when he was living. Now, he got in trouble a lot, but this one always called, always was seeking after me. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was that particular son who was doing the same thing, coming to seek after me. But when he heard my voice, he was afraid. How do I know he's afraid? Because he's running. He's running for his life. And guess what? There was no one pursuing him. I just called his name, and he fled when no one pursued. So he's doing something wrong. Somebody bit in his ear, right? And so I was thinking to myself, as a man, aren't we the man that that just like Adam says, the woman you gave me, did I not give my sons and daughters a woman when I decided to lay with a woman and put my seed in her to produce life? So when you picking these women to be the mother of your children, you're giving them the woman. And that same woman, just like Eve, who gave Adam Eve? Yeah. Who gave the sons and daughters the woman, their mother, the man? Because he chose her. And so I'm thinking to myself, the same thing is that something that the woman that I gave my son gave to him caused him to react the way he reacted.
I want to stop this right here because you hear him here telling this story about how his son came to, I guess, see him, or he tried to gather up some courage to see his father, speak to his father, or just reminiscing about the old times when they were at the big house, right? Or whatever it may be. Maybe he's missing his father. But I want to point out the quick reason way, or the way that he just spun the hell out of this story. And not only did he spin it, he spun it to where he would blame, right, his ex-wife for the behavior of his son. And I think that right there was just a bit much. I don't think it was right for him to spin it and twist it into where it was her fault that he came and showed up there, right? And I'm pretty sure he showed up there against her wishes. You understand what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he showed up there against her wishes to see his father. He said, this is the son that really loved him the most, who showed the most love towards him. My thing is this, right? If you are able to empathize, if you had empathy, if you had the capacity to empathize with somebody else or to be empathetic, then you would be able to relate to the behavior or the odd behavior of the young man. He just got done witnessing a traumatic experience or event. His parents separating for the first time. He's never seen this before. He's probably never even seen this level of combative or arguments before. He went through that trauma of his family being torn apart. Not only his family being torn apart, but the media also being involved. The messy divorce that took place. All of this shit that took place, he was right there and he was fully aware and conscious enough to be aware of all of it. But you hear this man spinning it with the lack of empathy, with the lack of love and charity, of understanding what his son really was feeling during that time, approaching the old house that he used to live in, that used to love to live in, with his siblings and with his two parents that were united. You don't know what type of struggles that's going on back at home. If he's having arguments or disputes with his mother because maybe the traumatic experience has thrown him into a certain state, right? To where he's being more rebellious now because the family has been torn apart and he's still trying to figure out why. So the moment he sees or hears your voice, he gets a bit afraid, as a child probably would be. You understand what I'm saying? As a child probably would be afraid. But the way that you spun it, you made him seem like that he was wicked, because the wicked flee where no man pursueth, that he was wicked because he heard your voice and ran. He got nervous. He got cold feet and he ran. Where is your empathy? What is your love for your seed? He took this big leap to even disobey his mother, right? The one you claim is a Jezebel. He disobeyed the Jezebel and showed up to your property and was met like this. Now he can hear you slander him, your own son, your own seed. I know for me personally, if it's my son showing up at that gates, at those doors, I would have been trying to find my son. I'd have been trying to figure out where he went. What happened with Adam when Adam broke the covenant in the Garden of Eden? When he broke the covenant and ate from the forbidden tree, did not Yahweh, did he not go and start to search for Adam to and fro, shouting his name, trying to see where his son was, Where is my creator? Where is Adam? He went to go see about him. He didn't just leave him. He didn't just see that he was hiding and was like, okay, well, he's hiding. He's wicked. The wicked flee where no man pursueth. He didn't do that. He went and sought after Adam. And we can go through many more stories within the scriptures where the Most High went and sought after someone. He went to go seek them out. He didn't just allow them to run or hide or do any of those things. He sent an angel for them. He did something, right? That showed that he was compassionate, that he was loving. You understand what I mean? Now, when you truly have love, compassion in your heart, this is not something that you need to have coaching on. This is not something this comes naturally. You see that your son is there, right? And he's gathering up or mustering up some sort of courage to be able to say hello to you. And it's been so many years. You make it easier for him to do that. You make it easier for him to be received. You know why? Because he's seeking after his father. You make it more receptive and not so judgmental and putting him down with the scriptures, trying to say that he's wicked. And then not only that, you place it in her lap and almost make it seem like that she's been tainting him. When the very rebellion of showing up there is enough to say that he was moving in righteousness, but he's a child. Sometimes the emotions will get the best of you. You understand what I'm saying? The way that he's speaking about his own son really took me back. And, it really goes to show you even more of the character of Kabeer Gbaja-Biamila and how self-centered he truly is. He's self-centered, self-righteous. And you only get that from when you've been making millions of dollars, right? You can believe you can say what the hell you want to say. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. And there's no empathy that comes from you, right? And then when you want to show empathy, is so you can be able to what? Show yourself to be something. So you can be able to boost your own credibility, your own status. So you can have that recognition. It's not so you can genuinely help someone. It's so that you can have recognition amongst men. Because my thing is this, right? It is not submitting to Jezebel if you go and seek after your son who's seeking after you. You giving him an opportunity to cleanse and purify, to see that his father still loves him, still cares for him, and will take the time out to run through a damn forest to find out where he went, to find out where he gone. Now he gets to listen to a video of you saying that you didn't give a shit about what he did, where he went, and where did he go. You didn't take the time out to even look for him. He wasn't being wicked. He was being a child. He was being a young man. He was being a man who's trying to gather up the boldness, the bravery to be able to say hello to his own father. He had cold feet. Where's your empathy? Where's your love? I see why Jordan might have slapped the shit out you at this point, because you lacking it. You're lacking it big time. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody really does need to be slapping the shit out you, Kabir, waking your ass up to the truth, to the facts. Where's your heart? This is the reason why, Yeshua had that rich young ruler sell all, give it to the poor, and to follow him. Because guess what? The possessions is what he truly loved. He didn't love Yeshua. The possessions is what he had this true bond towards. That's what made him who he was. It wasn't the faith in Yeshua. It was the possessions, the things that made him who he is, that turned him into the thing that he was. Sometimes we got to remain humble and grounded, right? Now we can really expose and see what's truly in this man's heart, Kabeer Gbaja-Biamila. It's not empathy. It's not love. He has a hardened heart. And I believe it stems not only from the divorce, but also it stems from having wealth, from not being checked, from people not chin checking him just because he's got some status or a certain position in NFL. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. So he'll probably say some bogus shit, right? And they won't even check him. They won't say, hey, bro, don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's not cool. Why would you say something like that? They not checking them. So when a man who's wealthy is never checked, is never addressed, and when he's operating in a manner that's lacking empathy, that's lacking concern of others, if he were to offend them, then guess what? This is what you get. You'll get a byproduct to where they believe that they can feel, think, and behave any way that they want and any way that they please, because their status is what allows them to do it. You understand what I'm saying? You as his father, your job, your duty is to teach your son how to be brave, how to be bold, how to be daring, how to understand life, how they need to understand conflict resolution, how to resolve those conflicts as a man, not just with your emotions, not just with your fists, but with your words, with your deeds, with your actions. You understand what I'm saying? It's your job to be able to let them know how to do things pragmatically. And if they have to take it to a place of war, that they will not shy away from it. Because when two men, like I was saying before, when two men have an impasse, when two men have conflict resolution or disagreement, the next step is violence. The next step is violence. You need to be teaching your son how both of them are very important, right? This woman was holding him back from you. This woman was, and trust me, I understand the feeling of that. This woman was holding him against his will, back from his own father. He went out to seek his own father, got cold feet, ran because he was fearful. And he starts to call his own son wicked. Something's not right. Something's not right for you to define your own son as that.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you.
My thing is this, right? I would never reject, deny. It just showed up one day at my doorstep, in my garage, in my park. I don't care where the hell you at. My son show up somewhere. Guess where I'm at? I'm wherever he at. I'm looking for him. I'm searching for him. I'm looking for him. It's just that simple. Because we know the plight of a lot of wicked women who seeks to do what? To hinder the father from being in the life of those children. But this does not help your case, because you don't want to be in a life either. If you are willing to just call them wicked and not even try to figure out where your son went, it doesn't make you a somebody who's submitting and bowing down to a skirt. It doesn't make you weak as a man to say that you went and ran and sought after your son who came to seek after you. My thing is this, right? I would have to teach him how to slap the shit out of his own father. Like, why? Why even put that image out there of your son? Why even say that to make him even more fearful of seeking after his own father? Why are you pushing him away even further by saying what you're saying in regards to him being wicked?
Smack your goddamn daddy! Yeah! I'm gonna show you how to smack this motherfucker. You gonna give back everything you took. That's how you smack. You gonna give back every fucking thing you took.
Yeah. You need to be slapped. And I think that that's not right. That is absolutely wrong. It's wicked to have a heart that cold to where you allow your son to take off like that and you're not chasing after him. You're not trying to seek him. You're not driving around the city blocks trying to figure out where he went. You understand what I'm saying? You're not calling out to him to bring him back to you. You should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. My thing is this, right? You know, if your child is seeking after you, he's seeking after his father, that it is your duty and it's your obligation to meet him. It's your duty and it's your, as his father, it was your duty. I don't give a damn if you were barefoot. It was your duty and your obligation to let him know where home was, to let him know that you were his father and that you still loved him. It was an opportunity to heal wounds, and you missed the pure opportunity to heal that wound, to give him comfort, to give him reciprocity, to give him peace. Are you waiting for him to become an adult male to come to you and actually talk to you about the trauma that he's been under since you guys split and separated? And you talk about this like it's a flex. The things that you're saying, it's not a flex, yo. This is embarrassing. And it just really goes to show you a man's heart. This is when the scriptures say what defiles a man is what comes out of his mouth, because whatever comes out of his mouth is in the heart, is in abundance of the heart. So when you hear him talking, it's lacking empathy, it's lacking love, it's lacking charity, it's lacking all of these things that he should have for his own son who's seeking him out. Then you got to know where his heart is at. That's a man's fruit right there. They talk about this. I don't give a damn what his house looked like. I don't care that he's sitting in this nice office with this beautiful desk, with that nice ass cabinet back there in the back, with his picture and a couple of Straitway plaques back there. That means nothing to me. What's coming out of, what are you talking about right now? What's coming out of your mouth? How are you treating your own son who's seeking after you after this traumatic divorce and split? You're treating him like he's wicked. That's what really truly defines you as a man. It really does truly define you. It shows you who you truly are. That's the conditions of your heart. Lacking the fruits of the spirit. This is the fruit that we need to be observing, not the works, not the works of the hands, not the works of the flesh, but the true fruit, the fruit that's being produced. Is there any empathy? Is there any long suffering? Is there any love that's coming from this situation where he's calling his son wicked and then saying that his ex-wife is now, it sounds like he's still bitter about their split and separation, as far as his ex-wife leaving and them not being together anymore, to where he's still trying to paint her to be something that maybe she had nothing to do with him even showing up there that day. Maybe she told him countless of times, time after time, don't you go there. And he defied that and showed up anyway to seek the love of his father. Let's go to this timestamp real quick. Oh, let's play it. Let's let this play through a little bit.
And he took off his boot. This will be the son that would come to me. I wish I could tell you a story besides me disciplining my sons and daughter. But besides that, of me disciplining when they did something wrong, they would say I was a good father. They wanted to be around me. They want, just like what I'm experiencing right now. My sons right now that I have 4 with me now. No, 5 with me, and then 3 daughters right now. And I discipline them too. But they always, when I come into the room, they want to greet me. Baba's home, meaning father. He's home, or hey, look. They run. They come to me. That's the same thing I got when I was with my seeds before I came into the truth. And now the same seed that once ran into my arms is the same seed is now fleeing from my voice. And I'm thinking to myself, now, I don't know what Christianity would call that. What do you call that? And you would think that, what happened to honor your father and your mother? I called him and said, come back. Who is it? Come here. He completely, my voice meant nothing. He took off. Couldn't even obey my words. And so when I look at this, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I felt like, and obviously, guys, seeing one of your sons, and not that I had a clear shot, but I could tell it's one of my sons. And, obviously you get this thing in your heart and you think like, I'm like, wow, is this what Yah feels? Is this what he felt when Adam took up the tree that he wasn't supposed to take? I mean, just by my son's manifestation of him running away, told me that what's happening to him is not right, because that's unnatural. I've never done anything for him to do that. So something was planted into his ears, into his brain, that now when he hears the man that created him, by the grace of Yah, he flees. Then I think about,
it's obvious, the split, the divorce, the separation, what the media was saying. You understand what I'm saying? What your ex-wife was saying. It's not just her. It's you, what you were doing during that time. The level of opposition, the opposing forces That is enough for anybody to feel some kind of way, especially when the media is involved and then everything is publicly displayed and scrutinized on a open format. You better be damn right he's probably feeling some kind of way. Why aren't you feeling empathetic about it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where's your empathy for your son?
If they truly want to be reconciled to me, they're gonna have to work through that stuff. So clearly you can see how their mother has put a stumbling block. You know, the word that I think of is what Yeshua says, that anyone that calls these little ones who believe in me, these children once believed in me, to put a stumbling block. It would have been better for you to put a millstone around your neck than to cause these little ones to stumble. Women, I'm telling you, it's your job to teach your sons and your daughters the love of the Father. If you're teaching them to hate their father, I'm telling you, I'm giving you strong warning. It's not going to be well with you. You better make sure you teach them the love of the Father, because they spend more time with you and you have an influence on those seeds. And if you cause those children to turn to dishonor their father, one is a curse on them, because you can't live in dishonor of your father and expect to be blessed. And then those children come back anyway. They're going to reject you too. They're going to grow up and find out what happened. Then trust me, the roost will come back to wherever they stay. When they leave, it comes back. It's going to come back and hunt you.
So I disagree with the whole cursing them, because, you know, of course, when he's running away from his father's voice, you know, and he just kind of gets cold feet, I don't believe that the Father, the Most High, is going to hold that against him. I just doubt it. I just really doubt it. Based on the circumstances, situation, he's a merciful Yah. I don't think that that's an actual problem. You know, I believe that the problem here is that you didn't observe and have a full observation of when you should have showed up as a father. And at that moment, you should have showed up a little bit more. I don't disagree when he says the woman needs to teach them the children how to love their father. I don't disagree with the situation, because honestly, I have my own testimony in it when dealing with a woman who's bitter, right? And is doing something just in spite, not because you're a bad father, not because you weren't showing up, not because you were a deadbeat, not because of any of those reasons. It's just because she's bitter. I understand how that feels. I understand what that looks like. But I also understand what I will be doing if my son is going to show up and he's no longer seeking to be with his mother anymore. He wants to be with his father. He wants to understand what it means to be a man. I'm embracing that 100%, even if it does take me going to search for him, trying to figure out where his whereabouts is, and whatever it may be. You understand what I'm saying? If he just showed and now he's just darting off in the middle of the woods, I'm coming after you. Because where are you going? You just got here. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to come in for a cup of coffee or, you know, for something to drink. You're not going to come in for a meal. You just got here. Where do you think you're going? I'm coming after you. You better believe it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what really raised some alarm bells for me. Not only that, but the way that he's speaking about the ministry, about Dowell. Let me see if I can get that timestamp real quick, and where he's just talking about that. I really wanted to point that out because it's so important for us to know and identify, like, yo, like, wait a minute. Why? Even if you didn't go after him, right? Why come on here and start to, you know, say that he's wicked, or say that something's going on and then placing that off on Eileen? Like, listen, there's a lot going on when you guys separated. It was a lot going on, man. You got to have a little bit more empathy for your son. A little bit more empathy for your son. And you know, I wouldn't take this approach as to where you're trying to condemn him for not listening to you. I think you should take a little bit more of a loving approach. So if your son hears your video, he would then feel comforted to want to even come back and stay this time, right? He'll feel less nervous as to what would happen. You understand what I'm saying? Especially after this split. He's seeing that you moved on. You got a whole new family. You got more people, a whole community of people living in the house that he grew up in. This is a whole different type of situation for a child to have to really digest and dissect and understand when he first pulls up in person. It's a lot to have to handle, yo, for a young man. It's a lot to have to handle. This is what I mean by suffering, because listening to him talk like this, it's got to bring this young man to tears. He's got to be crying about this in the background. And it's discouraging for him to want to show up there again if he's hearing you speak like this about him and his mother, instead of taking an approach of love, of patience, of peace, and even putting a video out there and saying, hey, just come back. You know, I love you. You know, I care for you. You know that you're my son. You can come back anytime. You're more than welcome. We'll have a meal waiting for you. I'm going to rejoice the day that I see your face again. Something nice that will allow your son to know, man, I messed up. I really shouldn't have ran. Because I'm pretty sure he already thought that the moment he took off. And those fight or flight instincts kicked in. He just took the hell off. You said he was darting out of there, man, with some canning abilities that resembled you back in the day. Yes, fight or flight is crazy. It'll make you do things, right? And the first response is to run if you're not looking to face the threat. So let's get into what else he had to say real quick, y'all. This is what this was sad for me, honestly. But let's go.
Just hope, wait, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, it's rare to see somebody that creates something hated the very thing they created, unless they just do something bad. So I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of women going to hell. I'm just telling you that right now. There's gonna be a lot of women. So you women, if you want to save yourself from going to hell, get under a righteous leader, get under your husband. If you have a husband, you submit to him, you honor him, and save yourself from this untoward generation, and stop listening to these other women spitting in the ear of other women to mess up their homes. So I'm telling you, you better get under. Your husband is your savior. And husbands, you know Yeshua is your savior. So if everybody just get up underneath their cover, we're good. If you want to go out and do your own thing, go ahead. Good luck, because you're gonna need it. I don't know how much it's gonna help you. So
I don't disagree with that. My thing is that a lot of the women who are out here bitter and they're doing it and taking it out on the children, they're really taking it out on them because they're deciding to exile themselves from the father, right? They're taking it out on the children. The children are ones who are going to suffer. The children are the ones who are suffering, because they want to know, they have a longing for their father, for their natural father, for their biological father, not for somebody else who you've tried to make a replacement because of your bitterness. You understand what I'm saying? They're seeking after their actual father, the one who raised them, birthed them, brought them into the world. You understand what I'm saying? That's who they're seeking for. And that's who they'll continue to seek for. You see it time after time. It ain't going to be a thing as to where they're going to stop looking for their father. And it ain't going to be a thing as to where a real father is going to stop seeking after his son and his daughters, his children. And the moment that he finds them is the moment that he can embrace them. And there's no way that he would avoid that moment for anybody. And my thing is this, right? I don't mind talking about this topic, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? I understand what the man's going through when it comes to this particular type of situation. And I know that my little enemies out there, because listen, if you ain't got no haters, bro, you ain't doing something right. You ain't doing enough. You understand what I'm saying? But I know you out there faking gay. I know you're going to try your best to chop it up, spin it however you want to spin it. You still putting a little bit of extra on this, that, and the third. Listen, lawsuits will get the flying. It is what it is. I don't mind that. You get what I'm saying? But my thing is this, right? I know you out there listening, Straight Gay Truth Ministries. I know you out there listening, Dirty Low Dowell, P. Diddy Dowell. I know you out there watching. I know y'all listening. You understand what I'm saying? I also want y'all to know that when you've met your match, it's best for you to keep your mouth shut. Good job, y'all. Y'all really, really toned it down this past week. Y'all really start shutting the hell up a little bit more. Y'all really toned it down, dialed it back. Even faking gay, he even dialed it down. He even toned it back a little bit. Still a little out of pocket. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna have to tone it down a little bit more, faking gay. Yeah, you're gonna have to tone that down a little bit more. You're gonna have to pipe down a little bit more. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta understand when you match your match. Sometimes it's just something that you can't handle. You understand what I mean? But that's what it is. My thing is this, right? When we're doing this, now I know you guys heard Kabir, right? Back on topic. Now, I know you guys heard Kabir in the beginning of this saying that people had left. People left, right? People left, and some of the key players, right? Some of the generals, right? Some of the lieutenants in this thing has left. And he's encouraging others to not be alarmed, right? To stay focused on certain things. Now, let's go play that back real quick, because I want to be sure he says it in his own words while I address it. I can't hear none of this. Okay. What's the problem?
All
Sounds
right, thank you. Somebody finally told me that they couldn't hear me, and if I had to comment,
oh,
all right,
shalom,
shalom, saints.
Okay.
Everybody's saying 0 now. See, guys, I'm doing this all by myself. I don't got my right hand man Deacon. He's busy right now. So let me start back over and say shalom, shalom, saints. I'm glad to have you guys here. Thank you, and share a real life, real time experience here, testimony. I wanted to share that. It was there's a side of me that didn't want to share it, but then they said I got to share this because I don't think too many people get to experience what I've just experienced and to be able to connect the dots. And I wanted to put that out there. So, but before I go into my testimony, I want to just kind of give you guys. I know I've been absent here, so forgive me. It's just been a lot going on. We have new. We have had. It's been busy here at Straitway Praise Land. We have had 3 new births here on the land. We have had 2 sons, 1 daughter. One of the 3 is mine. So I didn't have all 3. So one of the 3 is mine. So one of my women is in purification, and taking care of my, with that, because my woman plays such a huge role in taking care of my father. So it's now down to my woman, Sister Bree. She's doing a great job. Didn't sign up for this stuff, but I guess when she, had a covenant with me, she ended up agreeing to anything it takes to be my helpmeet. And I want to give a shout out to my brother, my friend Deacon David, for his assistant. He's actually now is one of the support for my father. So we rotate on night shifts. So Deacon, thank you so much. May Yah bless you, bless Bree.
So one thing's for sure, right? He's had so much help to come out there, man. Like women who come to that land to help him with the father. And then when they come to that land to help him with his father, well, they get met with a lot of different things. And abuse is one of them. What I'm hearing from now, this is alleged because I don't have it from I got it from credible sources. Okay. I got it from credible sources that a lot of these women who are going to Straitway praise land are being met with sexual type of advances. You understand what I'm saying? So they being met with that, and they're deciding to leave. They vote with their feet on the side of righteousness, based on their testimonies, based on what I've been giving from credible sources. This is the case. Now, Deacon David having to step in as support for your father is only based on you guys' doing, because y'all don't understand how to have some goddamn self-control when it comes to women. Almost as though y'all haven't seen a woman before in your life. Like, what does it take? Like, have you not dealt with women? Like, you guys don't typically deal with women on a daily basis. Like, it takes that much. You got people who are just that invested, right? To where they just gotta overstep their boundaries when they see a young lady, maybe she's single, helping out with taking care of your father. They got to be met with unwanted advances. That's unacceptable. Because as men, you got to have some self-control, and weak men who lack self-control are the problem in our societies. Weak men who lack self-control. This is how you get rapists, is because they lack the self-control in a sexual area. You understand what I mean? They're the problem in our societies. This is how you get school shooters. It's because they lack self-control with their anger. This is how you get serial killers. It's because they lack self-control. And that's right. I see discipline in the chat. Indiscipline. They lack those things. This is the reason why you get that. A weaker man in society is a danger to us all. A mentally unstable man, a weak man, is a danger to us all in society, in community. So my thing is this, right? When you have individuals who are supposedly in a community, men in a community running it, who are supposed to be tamed and tempered, right? Who's supposed to be keeping the book, and they have accusations like this coming out of their community, that a woman who's single can't be there for too long because she's got all these unwanted advances that makes her feel so uncomfortable, and they're working her to the bone. We're going to be going over that pretty here soon. It's real soon. We're going to unpack how these single sisters are worked to the bone, how hard they work the women in this ministry. We're going to unpack that coming up next flock. I'm going to have Sister Ray come on. We're going to do an interview live with the live audience, and she's going to unpack so much, y'all. She gave y'all a little taste, in which we probably going to pull up her testimony a little bit. We're going to add a little something to it, but she gave y'all a little taste when she dropped her testimony over there. You understand what I'm saying? When she dropped the testimony on the contract, we got to pull that out. But this is what they signed. This is what they agree to. This is what they have to go through. You understand what I'm saying? It's not being protected, not feeling protected, unwanted advances, right? And with the feeling of not being able to speak out or speak up against whatever is going on. That's the reason why Deacon David had to step in and give his time to be able to help you with your father. Because any sister that's being sent over to Praise Land by Dowell, by Mitchell, or any other leader that's within Straitway, they've been sent there and bad reports have come out and they have left that community for valid reasons. You understand what I'm saying? So that's not what he gonna tell you. He ain't gonna tell you that part. He ain't gonna tell you that. What he gonna do is he gonna try to keep it cute. And that's about it. They can't send you single sisters to help you out because of the simple fact that you're going to try. Somebody's gonna violate them in Praise Land. You got too many of those young men or whoever who's hot for a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Who's lusting, full of lust. Full of lust for a woman. It can be a real problem. Let's continue, though.
Let's Karisha, all of you guys helping. You didn't get this in Christianity, but you guys have been an amazing blessing to be able to help my father in such a time as this. And it's really helping me to help him. So praise Yah. But there's a lot been going on in ministry, guys. And you guys know there's a lot of people leaving. And I wanted to use that to segue into what I really want to talk about. But one of the things I noticed that with everybody leaving and just the reaction, especially for the people who's been left behind, is I think we forget about what the word says. When people leave, we get so caught up in the relationship that we have with these people, but we forget what the word says. Instead of looking at the fruit, we look at the tree and remember that tree for what it was, instead of looking at what the tree is producing to determine if it's a good tree or a bad tree. And so in Yah's word, he clearly says, let me just go here in 1 John 2:18. And I hope to be back, soon, guys, sooner than later. But right now, like I said, we're really short staffed, but we're working through that stuff. But there's a lot of great, as I look up the scripture, there's a lot of good stuff out there. We got obviously Pastor Dowell with the Straight Talk with the Shabbat service. So please tune in to those. We got Lined In. We got Ask the Elect. We got even Brother Hebrew Ellis. He's
all right. So Hebrew Ellis is somebody who's running for the starting position of elder, our deacon, our pastor, or teacher, whatever. He's one of the ones who's competing for one of the starting positions. So you already know, man. Shout out to the fat boy. Shout out to the all our board. Shout out to the big boy. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Damn, everyone, run for the hills! It's Fatzilla!
Shout out to the big boy, man. So he's one of the ones who's running for the starting position of elder, whatever, trying to be, you already know. He kissing, he puckering up, he's doing all the things, okay, to be sure that Dowell sees him.
Nigga, I'm Mike.
He's doing all the things, okay? He's doing a lot of all the things. And so now you hear that he's talking about those who have left. You understand what I'm saying? And saying, hey, y'all don't worry about them. They history. They gone. They left from among us. So they never truly was a part of us and all this other that. And this, that, and the third. Well, how do you know you're truly within the group who's going to make it? I don't believe that a lot of you got it right. I mean, literally, you would sit here and take a look at me and be like, man, look at him. He got shades on. Look at where he dressed. Listen, he's cardinal. He's worldly. Listen, I believe that I'm closer to the Father than you'd ever be. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just facts. I believe that you seek after the law and not after the love of Christ. You seek after the law before you seek after Christ. And that don't bring you closer to him. That brings you further away from him. That was the problem that he had to remove from us. It's because we were too busy trying to keep the law rather than trying to keep the love, trying to keep the charity, trying to keep the mercy, right? The same thing you didn't show your son when he showed up there trying to reconnect with you. And I feel for your situation. But given the opportunity of showing mercy to your son, you chose not to show mercy. You chose to beat him down. You chose to attack him publicly. And I think that was very unethical. I think that was very distasteful for you to come out here and talk trash about your son. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my thing. You can say whatever you want, but I know me personally, the Father consults with me on a lot of things. And it's a lot of stuff that has taken place that I called it. I called it because the Father showed it to me already. And I'm like, okay, this is what's going to happen. I don't know how it is he just reveals a lot of things to me. And then once it starts to play out, I'm like, yo, he already showed me that it was finna happen. That tells me all I need to know. No matter what you think you got going on, I know when you love the Messiah, right? It's not about the washing of the hands and how you look. It's not about that. He don't care about that. What he cares about is where's the conditions of your heart. Are you easy to forgive people? Do you forgive righteously? Or do you forgive grudgingly? Do you forgive and hang on to shit? The same way that Dowell tries to teach the ministry is to forgive, yeah, but hang on to the shit. No, forgive righteously. Understanding that the slate has been wiped clean. Now, giving them an opportunity to mess up again, right? But with grace and with mercy. So that way you can address that and help your brother grow. To help him grow. My thing is this, right? I want to address this real quick too, while I'm on the topic, okay? There's individuals who may have come to me, right? And it's not have been many, it's not a lot, okay? In regards to a comment that was made, that I made not a couple live streams ago when I said that this is the Warsheep podcast and this is not Yeshua's reactions, but this is the Warsheep and podcast reactions. I just want to address that real quick. I want to tell you that my thing is this. What would make it better for you? Should I just say that I am Yeshua, that I am Jesus? What would make it better for you or easier for you? And like I said, it's not a lot of many. I'm not here to please anybody. I'm not here to bend to your will. I believe that what I'm doing is what the Father would will for me to do, right? Because he's the one that's going to allow that. But I'm not Jesus. I'm not Yeshua. So I'm not going to claim or make claims that I am. And what we need to do as men is understanding the level of offense and forgiveness and understand how to walk in it. Not only walk in it, but walk in it like what? Walk in it like it actually means something. We can't talk like, okay, we are men or we're the people of Israel and things like that and concrete people, whatever it may be, right? We can't speak like this and then we go off and be offended by little shit that don't make no sense. And then it pulls us and draws us back from what the true thing we should be doing. And if you feel you're offended, then do what? Take it to your brother, have that out with your brother and your brother alone. See if he receives you. You understand what I'm saying? But don't think that if you are not the type of person who can get up here and actually do what I'm doing, right? If you don't have the courage to do it, if you don't have the aptitude, if you feel like that you're not going to or unwilling to, then you don't have anything you can say, you can speak, you can judge, because you got to be willing to come up here and step in the shoes of those, right, who actually are out here on the front lines, who are defending the truth. Sure, you can have plenty of your own judgments, right, your own opinions. But once you come to the front lines and you're under scrutiny, your testimonies, your experiences in life, once they're under scrutiny and people can attack them and you can be challenged in ways, and you don't understand the level of defense that you got to mount against individuals who want to make you seem like that you're a soft target. You got to put yourself in the same positions. And if you have to face the same things and you handle it appropriately, and guess what? Then that's when you can really speak on a matter. You can't speak on a situation that you have no experience. I don't care if you have failed experience in it. If you have failed experience in a situation, that makes you qualified to speak on it, because you can give somebody a testimony on how not to fail, how not to be a loser, how not to be a failure. If you've been winning in a situation for X amount of years and decades, guess what? It makes you a prime example, right? To be able to share experiences on how to win. But both experiences are 100% still very important. The failures, understanding those. The wins, understanding those. So actively put yourself out on the front lines before you start to weigh in on it. And that's me, everybody. You understand what I'm saying? We all got to keep that in mind. Like, who's taking a position of being brave enough to put themselves on the front lines, in the line of fire, to be scrutinized, to be talked about, to be drugged, to be smear campaigned. And I think that a lot of these guys here, it really bothers them because they know that I don't give a shit. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Just don't attack my loved ones. Don't attack my family. Don't attack, you know what I mean? People who've done nothing to you. Then I'd have to defend them. And then that's when you get the version of me that's a warrior. And then listen, when we're doing this microphone, this live stream, this is truly a weapon. This is truly a battlefield. This is truly bringing the truth to the people, right? And so when we're bringing the truth, or when we're dispelling lies, when we're doing any of this, right? This is warfare. This is battle. We're fighting against spiritual principalities and powers. There's power in individuals telling their testimonies. So you got to consider it. Do you take a position where you're like, okay, let me pray for the brother. I'm going to address it, but let me pray for the brother. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm still going to love the brother regardless. The way you handle it is so important, because I'll call you out in a heartbeat. I'll call you out in a heartbeat. I don't give a shit. It just is what it is. And I think that that's the reason. That's why it's kind of daunting. You know what I mean? How can you throw shots at somebody who just ain't phased? You hit them with your largest bullet, right? And you still stand there unfazed. Like, how do you deal with somebody like that? And not only that, you hit them as hard as you possibly can hit them, and they just come back and hit you even harder. But that's what you do when you see it and you say, you know what? Levels of respect, levels of honor, right? Because we all are tasked to protect each other in some form or fashion or another. There's always somebody who's going to be able to put themselves and put their neck on a line for you. You understand what I'm saying? And then those individuals who are doing it in the best way possible to defend your position, guess what you do? You support them as much as you possibly can, right? because they're going to be in line of defense for you, especially if you understand their character and you know that they got a warrior spirit on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest things, because they talk about controversy and how you shouldn't address it. They talk about this and taking a softer approach. And, you know, of course, if you are in a conflict, of course, you let them strike your cheek and then you turn the other cheek for them to strike that one. We only got two cheeks. What happens when you start running out of cheeks? What do? Right? Do you turn around, bend over, let them smack them cheeks too? What exactly do you do when you're running out of options and your back is against the wall and you've been patient enough, right? But they want to see the warrior within you, the lion within you. They want to see how loud you can roar if you're really truly about that, right? I guess you just gotta follow what Yeshua did when he started to flip over the tables and he started to beat them with cordage and drive out the money changers, and scribes and Pharisees are hypocrites and full of dead man bones and hypocrisies and all this other stuff. But you say that we're supposed to do what? Bless those who curse us. Love those who hate us. I believe that was some good loving. He gave some good loving to those individuals after that ass whooping that he gave them. That was some good loving right there. Whooping their ass. Nehemiah laying elbows and knees, whooping his brother ass, right? Whooping that brother ass. That was some good loving. Flipping them tables. That was some great loving right there. That's some, because I love you, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Scribes and Pharisees being hypocrites and hypocrisy, full of dead man's bones. That's some good loving right there. Open rebuke is better than secret love, right? Come on now. Yeah, good loving right there. So before we start really trying to pass judgment, we got to know and understand the difference. Real talk. But we're going to go to the next topic here real quick. That is a good question. Where is Becker? Where is Becker and Bell? I'm waiting on what they got to say. I am too, honestly. I know I identified and I seen that they took acknowledgement. Well, Bell took acknowledgement that there was some wrongdoing. So grace is what's given, because I didn't drop a couple videos on the topic. And so my thing is that, I want to give them grace. I want to give them time to actually come out and stay their peace, because they've already acknowledged that they've done something. That there were some wrongs that they need to right. And now it's time for just some grace, a period of grace for them to come out and right the wrong. So bless them. But I seen that they have some sweet fellowship with some saints. I wish them well. I don't mean any harm to them. I'm not offended, but I am going to defend those who are in need and those who don't have a voice, who don't have a platform to speak on it, or may not have the courage to speak up. I'm defending those. I am speaking out on the things that are difficult topics and conversations. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to hold that position regardless. You know what I mean? Even though I don't have any personal issues with the individual. But right is right, wrong is wrong. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So, okay. So we're going to go to the next topic, though, which is good. Absolutely. Breeze box. Stop playing. Bless you. That's true. Absolutely. May the Most High open your eyes and read the word for yourself. Trust no man until proven trustworthy. Yes, that is true. They gotta definitely prove to you that they can be. And listen, you'll be wise to see an opportunity where they can be trusted. You're seeking opportunities to see, like, man, where can I trust this individual? You're giving them chances and opportunities. Sometimes a lot of people who are like that, we get messed over, we get screwed in a lot of situations because the stuff that we discerned about the person, we discerned it about them, and then we gave them opportunities to prove us wrong by showing them examples as to how we want to be treated, right? So we treat them the way that we want to be treated. We do the best we can there, hoping they'll pick up on that. And then we're like, you know what? I discerned this, but I'm going to give them a chance to prove me wrong after I love on them, show them that I love them, compassionate towards them, whatever. Man, we got a hard plot in life, yo. We got a lot of people who, and it's only our fault, because honestly, our discernment should be the key, but it's our fault because listen, we ignore the discernment of those spirits, and we just give them opportunities and chances to screw us over anyway. So we can only take accountability, but we got a hard plight in life when we want to give people a chance, give them opportunities to prove us wrong, even though we discern that they're a piece of shit person. You know what I'm saying? That they are a piece of trash. You know it, you discerned it, but you still give them a chance not to be a piece of shit, not to be a loser. You understand what I'm saying? If thou wouldst get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Hallelujah. Absolutely. Exactly what we talking about, right? Be not hasty to credit him. Give him an opportunity. Well, sometimes you speak in Bible, bro. I guess you just don't know it. Sometimes you don't really know it because you don't remember every scripture. And anybody who said, "Yeah, I remember them all," man, y'all full of shit. You don't remember all the scriptures. So that right there, that's just exactly what I just got done explaining. It's Ecclesiasticus 6:7, right? He's still giving them an opportunity to prove themselves to you, right? And then you know that they full of shit. You know that they're shit people, right? And you still give them a chance. We got a hard plight in life, yo. We got a lot of heartbreak, a lot of emotional things that'll take place, soul ties, whatever it may be. And listen, we always seem to get screwed in the end, but guess what? You're going to always be successful regardless. You'd never give up. You keep doing what you got to do and learn from your mistakes, trial and error. Guess what? You'll never be down because we're always going to be resilient people too. That's what you find a lot when you find people who give people chances and who give people chances and opportunities to prove you wrong after discernment. You see that they are some of the most resilient, some of the most dedicated people, and they refuse to lose. You understand what I'm saying? They always rebuild. They always overcome. They're overcomers. They always have been. But that's the reason why they see it in other individuals who aren't worthy of it. You understand what I'm saying? It's because they themselves know how it feels to be counted out, to be seen as being less or not worthy. So they're like, listen, I see you as somebody that's not worthy. I see you as somebody who's a shit person. You understand? As a loser, like, right? As a whatever. But I also can see what you can accomplish, especially with my help. What you can accomplish, I can see that. I see the good in you. I'm gonna give you a chance to do good, right? So yeah, all y'all out there who's like me in that way, man, listen, bless y'all. It's a community. We should start a whole Facebook group. It'll be like a counseling session. We can all get in there and talk about our feelings and emotions and type out our experiences and just be a whole healing situation, going on for us out there who are what they would call an empath, right? Or who give people chances who don't deserve it, right? Chance at the door. Yep. That's why I don't have welcome mats at my house. Yeah, there you go. Prove themselves at the door. Yeah, absolutely. No more wasting time. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things. It's time to win. It's time to go for the dubs. L's, not taking those. I don't give a shit how you feel. If you feel like I'm making content because of whatever reason you feel, guess what? I don't give a shit. It just is what it is. Because I'm going to continue to do what I'm good at. Whatever talents the Most High have given me, guess what? I'm going to utilize those talents. But when you see me being consistent and me consistently driving something and you start feeling some kind of way, then why don't you go find something that you're good at and you go be consistent in it rather than over here looking at me and trying to make a judgment based on your lack of ability to accomplish. It definitely make you less tight in the ass. When you're seeing men out here accomplishing things while you're sitting on your rear end, your ass, and doing nothing. Or you're just going to your shit job on a daily basis, clocking in, clocking out, going home to a wife who doesn't give a shit about you, who could care less, who you guys don't even really have a real interesting marriage world or life. You don't even have an interesting relationship. Y'all just showing up. And you got a nerve to come out here and actually hate on the next man who's actually accomplishing things in life, who's actually driven enough to be consistent in what he's doing. Just say that you're a fan. Just say you're a fan. Just say that you wish you could have the same drive. You wish you can have the same motivation to be consistent in something that you're good at. But you're too busy looking after failure after failure after failure, and then you're so mediocre and so minuscule that you got to go run to 9 to 5 and be even less of an interesting person. You got to be confined to someone else's dream. You don't build your own world. You don't manifest things into reality. Men are manifestors. This is how we know that we're made in the likeness of the image of the Most High, is because whatever we see, we can bring that into reality. This is how you know when you're truly connected to the Father, is when you can create, when you can form, when you can develop, when you know that you're so far away from Yah. You got to know that's a tall tale sign. When you identify someone who lacks drive, motivation, who lacks the ability to think, to want to conquer, you understand what I'm saying? To want to conquer earth. When they lack that ability, that drive, you got to know that they are not of the Father. They're not close to the Father. They don't know the Father. They've never been around the Father, because the Father is a conqueror. He conquers. And he would know, he would want nothing less but for you to get out here and conquer earth and then give him the glory. If you're around people who cannot achieve greater, who cannot strive to be even better tomorrow, who fail and get back up and keep trying and stay encouraged with each failure. If you are around people who tear themselves down and cannot build themselves up to accomplish and achieve higher heights, you need to get away from them, because they're not of the Father. I don't care if they say they are of the faith. I don't care if they say that they are Hebrew Israelite or like a Christian, whoever, that they pray 5 times a day. If they speak like that, if they behave like that, and they don't want to accomplish anything in life, get away from them, because they're not of the Father. They don't walk and model themselves after him. Who was Yeshua? Yeshua is a conqueror. Did he not defeat Satan? Go down there and grab the keys to hell? Did he not defeat Satan? Did he not defeat sin? Is he not a conqueror? Didn't he go into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights and fast, and was tempted of all things? And was tempted of all things. A lot of you cowards wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to achieve that. To understand that Yeshua himself is a conqueror. He conquered Satan when he offered them all the kingdoms of this earth, if he but bow down and serve, right? He conquered Satan by rebuking him. The same Father. If you see that this man or this woman, whoever, lacks the motivation, the drive to conquer, to overcome, they're not there yet. Maybe you got to take a couple step backs and allow them to have the space and opportunity to see you there, so they can want to be there. You need to lead by example, chase conversation. But at some point, you got to cut it loose. You got to let them watch from afar, from a distance, while you conquer earth. They see you achieving it. They see you consistent at it. They see that it is continuous in growth. Guess what? They're going to be motivated at some point. They're going to either be motivated to tear yours down, or they're going to be motivated to build their own. Depending on what type of character they have will define them and who they are in the kingdom, in this earth. What type of spirit is truly on them. That's how you can separate the wheat from the tare, your enemies, friends, and foes. That's how you separate them. It's conquer, overcome, be an overcomer. Be a high achiever. Then you start to really identify who's with you and who ain't. Because they're going to show themselves. They're going to reveal who they truly are. They're going to reveal it. And then you can identify them. You understand what I'm saying? Be a conqueror. Be a conqueror. Wake up every day with the mindset of winning, of being a winner, of being an overachiever, of nothing being able to stop you. Not the government, not your family, not even yourself, your selfish ass self. Nothing can stop you. You got to wake up with that mindset every day that you are the shit, totally and completely. Every day needs to be a day where you're like, listen, today I'm going to win in the name of Yeshua, in the name of Yahweh. We winning. We on a hiatus. We representing the kingdom. And the only way you can represent is if you're not a loser. You think that the Most High wants you out here with a loser mentality, with a shit mentality that you can't achieve anything. You think he wants that representing his kingdom? Do you really think that? And if he did, and guess what? He would have instilled it not only in Yeshua, but he would have instilled it in the disciples. Even when Moses tried that shit with him, he forced his ass to get back to Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? Even when Moses tried that shit with him and tried to tell him, hey, I don't speak well. He's like, man, shut up. Get back to Egypt. Get your ass over there and do exactly what I told you to do. He didn't even let Moses take a position of being a coward, of being a loser, of having a loser mindset mentality, of a mentality that he can't get it done, that he can't do it. Moses didn't even have the grounds and the wiggle room to behave that way. What makes you think that you do? What makes you think that you have the grounds to behave like you can be complacent and not overachieve or find demons to conquer, higher heights to reach, things more to achieve? A lot of times it's going to take your time to sacrifice. And guess what? Once you sacrifice the time, it's going to develop your kingdom. What you decided to create on this earth is what will be developed. That's what will come to fruition. Women get behind a man who has a vision. I don't care where he's at in his state of mind. I don't care where he's at in his way of walking. Is he moving? Is he consistent in what he's doing? Does he have a vision? Support him in his vision, because he's going to create the reality for you. If his vision is going to be what it is, it's going to develop. Get behind a man who has a vision, not a dream. Don't get behind a dreamer, because dreamers aren't doers. Get behind a man who has a vision, a destination, has it mapped out, and consistency, being consistent in what he's doing in his craft. The moment you support a man who's a visionary, who has a vision, is the moment that all of your dreams will come true as well. But we know what? A foolish woman will plucketh it down with her hands, with her mouth. So get behind the vision and know when to be quiet. Know when to encourage. Know when to motivate, lift him up, and to instill greatness in that man, in that vision. And y'all conquering earth. But yeah. Vision. Get behind it. All right. I mean, I went off on a tangent, y'all. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get back to it. We're gonna roll to the next. I want to go ahead and I want to peel some things out of this testimony. But that's one thing that I definitely want to come across, that warrior spirit, understanding how we know and identify who men are and who they truly are. If they're truly serving Yah, they truly serving the Father, these men are going to be constantly looking for ways to strive and to do better and not to just conform to somebody else's world, right? They're going to be looking to build their own reality, because that's what we do as men. You understand what I'm saying? We create our own reality. We don't live for other men. You understand what I mean? We live for the Most High. We live for our families and our communities. But we want to be sure that we're using the talents that Yah's given us to create. All right, we got it right here. All right, let's go ahead. So we're going to be having Sister Ray on. She's going to be coming on the 20th, the next flock that's coming up. Yeah, I hope y'all excited, man, because we about to blow the roof off the joint. It's about to be something crazy. But I want to go ahead and touch on some things that she actually shared in her testimony. Okay, y'all. I want to touch on some things she shared in her testimony. I think it was a beautiful testimony. If you guys haven't seen it, look, about 518 views here. I see her subscriber count went up. I'm going to share her link in the chat. Okay, y'all. Link to the video is going to be down in the chat room. If you have not watched this video, this testimony just yet, please go check it out in its entirety. And also subscribe to the channel, because you know she's doing some great work out here, and she's looking to do even more for the body of Messiah, right? And revealing the truth of a lot of these wicked devils out here, right? But doing it in a righteous way, because she knows what the truth is. She got a firsthand experience. She's not out here like faking gay, you know, and just fabricating stories. Okay. It ain't nothing but lies over there and fabrications. Okay. He's about on the verge of being absolutely sued and his whole channel being trashed. That's how many lies he really tells. So no, this ain't what it is. She's got a firsthand experience, firsthand knowledge, and her own testimony that she's sharing. Let's go ahead and get into this thing, y'all.
Hey, let's talk about these bylaws. I'm gonna read some of this to y'all word for word and break down like what it actually means for the woman in these communities, whether she be married or single. This is a trap, and she can't say it, but I will. We're gonna get right into it. Straitway Truth Ministries is a faith-based ministry headquartered in Tennessee, dedicated to guiding individuals on a path to righteousness. Sounds very innocent, sounds very holy, but I mean, all you have to do is really pay attention. This path of righteousness ends up being like a one-way road where you have to follow their vision, their order, their interpretation of the book, their rules. You have to do these things or you are seen as rebellious. You're seen as a problem, carnal, spiritually unfit. Now that's a start. Okay, Article 1, Section 2. All contributions to Straitway Truth Ministries are voluntary and are provided as acts of service. The organization does not offer paid positions or employee benefits. This is a pretty big statement. I think it's in this one as well, where it says that, you know, you're encouraged to seek outside independent financial sources or something like that. If you are a single mother, you are not encouraged to leave that land and go get a job at all. So what does that mean for you? This is also a way for these people in the leadership positions to legally protect themselves, because they know that you're being exploited. You're working a full-time job. You're working more than a full-time job. You're doing extreme labor in these places, and they extract your value in the name of devotion, shifting the survival of it onto you. And then psychologically, it is training you to not expect anything. When the wording like voluntary and what else did it say? But just that word alone, it shifts
Okay, so I want to touch on this real quick because I've had credible sources come to me and tell me more about how the single sisters lived, right, when they were either contributing to the community and they were offlanders, or they lived on the land and they made their contributions not only financially but also through physical labor. You have to understand, you can go to work and put in a full shift, okay, 7-10 hour shift. It didn't matter. The moment you were done, your ass needed to be on the land and also going right back into prep, into working. So you work in majority of all your days. There's no opportunities and time for relaxation, to spend time with the Father, to grow yourself spiritually, to have healing testimonies, to reflect on your inner demons, the things that conflict you, the bitterness in your own heart. There's no time for a woman who's a part of Straitway Truth Ministries on that land to have opportunities to work out her own salvation with fear and tremblance. Yeah, sure, they may claim to do deliverance, but listen, they don't have enough time to focus on walking that deliverance out and focus on what the true deliverance truly is. I'm not speaking this based on, oh, no, yeah, I'm getting this from firsthand individuals who spoke about it. And now that we got another confirmation, I can tell their story. There's a lot of testimonies that I've taken in, that I've heard, that I've overheard, that have been emailed to me. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of testimonies where saints were crying out, but I don't really bring and rush and run to the platform to go and, oh, listen what this say and that say. I need confirmation first. I need people to come out and speak publicly. And the moment they can speak on a topic publicly, I can back it up with facts from somebody else who actually told the same testimony. That's my level of fear of coming out and bringing false information. I don't want to bring any falsified information that did not represent somebody well. I don't even give a damn if it's Dowell. And I'm going to be totally honest with all of you. Y'all going to be mad as hell about this with me. I'm even questioning whether Dowell truly committed adultery with Nelly. I'm questioning it. I'm raising some red flags. I'm hearing the testimony. I've been investigating the testimony. I've been doing investigations on that testimony. You understand what I'm saying? But imagine getting something like that wrong and falsely accusing a woman of adultery, and she really truly didn't commit adultery, because there is a form of neglect, because the man neglected his family, because Eric Gonzalez neglected to support his family for X amount of years. And so we're supposed to take a position of care when in the Bible it says if a man decides he wants to neglect his family, that he will lose that family. You understand what I'm saying? So I've been investigating that, and I've been questioning the position of adultery when it comes to Nelly, when it comes to Eric Gonzalez. You understand what I mean? I understand if you're maybe being neglectful for a short period of time, but if it's for years, then something's wrong. Something is really, truly wrong for a man to separate himself from his family for years and come and visit, but not provide for them financially or do anything to provide for them, right? And not show up. So I've been investigating it thoroughly, y'all. I've been questioning whether adultery truly was a thing for him and Nelly, for him and Nelly, for Dowell and Nelly. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Because I'd hate to falsely accuse somebody, run with a false accusation, and not do my own due diligence. So welcome to the Warsheep podcast. Hopefully you guys still love me because I'm really trying to figure that out. I really want it to be something that's worth knowing more about. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I want to be fair. We're having trouble with streaming on Facebook. Okay. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. So we're gonna do more investigations on that. As of now, it still stands that it looks like adultery, but through the testimonies, it's kind of compromised that position of adultery. A lot of the testimonies and a lot of that research that I'm doing, y'all, before I make a definitive decision whether this is truly adultery or not, because we can't get the full story, right? We can't get all parties together to truly discuss it. We only got the testimonies that have been put out, okay? And I understand when it says, of course, a woman shouldn't divorce her husband and things like that, but through neglect, the scriptures say something otherwise. It does say something different. And listen, I don't want to compromise the position of adultery. I don't want to compromise that. I really don't. I think that it truly was adultery. I believe that she did operate like that, but the testimonies of how this man kind of pursued the situation, it seemed like he was being extremely neglectful, and he was neglecting his family. And it didn't matter that he had another woman that he was caring for, that shit didn't matter. What mattered is that he left them and kind of left them high and dry and did not provide for them. Didn't do any providing, no provisions. The lack of it was almost as though he wasn't coming back for them. But one thing that I'm really just trying to figure out even more so is how long was this, right? And what's the truth? What's the validity of the testimony coming from Nelly, coming from Dowell? They could be just lying. They could just be lying on this guy, Eric. Eric seems like he's telling a certain testimony that's kind of contrary to what the truth is. It's just like it's difficult unless we know the real truth, right? Unless the real truth really was established and we had receipts. You understand what I'm saying? And we had actual receipts. Yeah. As to what was going on when, and yeah. So, man, listen, don't come for me in the comment section, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm just doing investigations on this. Okay, I'm doing investigations on this. Don't think that I'm holding a position already, because I'm not holding a position on Dowell being innocent of adultery. I have not adopted that position yet, but I am investigating it. I am doing a thorough deep dive into this thing, and I really hope I can reach out to some key players who can give me more information on adultery. That way we can right our wrongs. If we have been leveraging accusations of adultery, trust me, Dowell's done plenty of other shit. Okay, he's definitely taken Summer from brother DeJerry. So that's definitely a thing right there, right? That's definitely because Summer was actively betrothed to DeJerry, right? So he definitely did that shit. Okay, that's hands down, right? Thing. And I would like to have statements from DeJerry, in regards to that situation, but he has not come out and spoken on it. He's not given any facts or anything in regards to the situation. So I'm hoping one day he will. So there's a lot of things that I want to do more of a deep dive and investigation into in regards to accusations against Dowell, because I don't want to be in an internal lake of fire, and I don't want you to be in there either. If I can figure out what the truth is and take the time out of my day to discover the truth, then I want to be sure that we all have the truth. And then that those accusations are the charges that are being levied against Dowell are the ones that stick, the ones that are important. Okay. So that's me. That's my due diligence and me doing my own due diligence to be sure that my salvation and yours is protected. Okay. So because I don't think anybody actually. So yeah, I got sources to reach out to, y'all. I got sources to reach out to. Things like that. Man, it cut out after that. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Is we truly there? Is slavery by another name called community living? Yeah. What are y'all talking about? Joshua Journeys. So yeah, we're gonna do a deeper dive into that. And once I'm done with the investigations on that, I promise you, we're gonna have the truth. You don't say. So yeah, neglect is the angle, and I really want to lock that in. Expose Pimp Dowell too. Yeah, no, he still did. It's still a lot of shit that he's definitely guilty of, and listen, he's no escaping that. But the case of Nelly and that, I want to see what's up. I want to see what's up with that. I want to dive deeper into that situation and pull more receipts, get more testimonies, but I also need some valuable key information in regards to that and how it aligns with scripture. I really do. So yeah, like I said, hopefully y'all ain't gonna be mad at me about this, man. But listen, y'all just listen. We gonna get it. If it wasn't true, then why has Dowell been lying and ducking so hard about that claim? I can't answer that. Because that's true. He has been ducking. He has been doing a lot of that, and that's what makes it like valid. It gives it a little bit more validity because an unanswered, unrebutted affidavit, right? If you don't rebut something, then guess what? It stands as truth, right? And if you're not truly rebutting it, then guess what? It's true. So, I mean, but let's keep investigations going. We're going to keep it open for investigations. And also, we know for sure that it won't hurt nothing if we're doing our own due diligence, right? Y'all got mad at me on that one. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Dowell didn't commit adultery with Nelly. Yeah. Listen, I didn't say he didn't. I'm saying that we need to investigate that a little deeper. We need to get some more people, right? We need to get some more real facts. We need to do all of that. We need to do a thorough investigation to be sure that we're not leveraging false charges. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. Let's do due diligence. Y'all, let's do our due diligence. Don't be mad at me. Don't come for me in the comments. Don't do none of that shit. I'm just saying, let's go. Let's do our due diligence in discovering the truth on that whole situation between Nelly, Eric Gonzalez, and Charles Dowell. Okay. All right. Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. And we'll move on to the next.
You into this mindset that you're a servant. This is what you're supposed to be doing. On these communities, you're going to work a lot. You're going to be cooking for hours. You're going to be cleaning. You're going to be gardening. Your husband's going to be building. You're going to be babysitting. You're going to be doing all these things for free. And it's called volunteering, but in reality, this is unpaid labor. And they package it as faith, service. You don't have wages. You don't have rights. You're not protected, which we'll talk about more. But when you're tired, you're reminded that this is your duty. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And this is what you volunteered to do. This hits hardest if you're a single woman, if you're a single mother, because you need money. You have babies that have needs. You're trying to build something for yourself. But here, financial independence for you is absolutely quietly discouraged. You're praised for being dependent. It's set up for you to be dependent. There is no outside source unless you have family. If they don't step in, you really don't have anything of your own. Everything is pretty much given to you based off of your value, what you can contribute. This going into Article 3, Straitway may provide food, housing, and communal resources, not as compensation. So you get enough to survive so you won't leave.
So she's going through this contract, okay? And what I really want to point out to y'all is that this is a contract on how you're going to conduct yourself while you're in the community setting and what you should expect, right? Why can't they do a contract in regards to offspring, in regards to beneficiaries, in regards to parent passing down inheritance? Because they don't care about you having a legacy. They could care less. They care about you building the satanic church of Dowell. That's what they care about. They don't care about anything else outside of that. They could care less. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is this, right? Is that they're not going to give you a contract in regards to stipulations on how you're going to succeed in life by being on community with them and whatever you're contributing to the pot by working, right? By working by the sweat of your brow, how the labor of your hands, you're going to reap benefits in regards to maybe owning a portion of the community or being a part of a trust or being locked in to some sort of benefits, right? I mean, I remember the days where you couldn't get black people to do shit unless they knew that they were going to be getting some residuals. I remember the days that you couldn't get them to do nothing, agree to nothing. We ain't doing nothing unless I know for sure we're gonna get residuals. One hand wash the other. You understand what I'm saying? How are we able to take advantage of each other on this level to where we're drawing up contracts to tell them what they should expect, right? And it's not much. He's telling her actively, right? These women actively, hey, when you come into this thing, don't expect much. Don't expect this, don't expect that. Don't expect much at all. We're only going to be doing these things, and not for this reason, these reasons, but for these reasons. This is the reason why we're doing it. Right? So this is where we're at. And this is the reason why I started it off with the trust and showing how it could be structured differently. And we wouldn't have individuals like Dowell ruling and running it in a tyrannical manner, right? To where people are just beat to the Pope, because she just told you, listen, the single sisters working a full-time job, and after working a full-time job, then they hit the kitchen on the land. They do prep days. Then they're working their fingers to the bone on the land, cleaning the toilets, cleaning the floors, mopping, whatever. And then their days don't normally end until 11, 12, 1. Then they got to go to work in the next morning. Tell me that's not a workhorse or a slave. Not only that, when you're working, you're giving up the whole check. You're giving up everything with no opportunities to dwell in peace. You got to understand that this is what you're looking at. You understand what I mean? I got to tell you this much. One of the sisters who came from the land, who lived communal in Tennessee, was spiritually just destroyed. You would think that if they lived close to the hub or on the land, that this individual, that they would have it, they shit tight, airtight, and they will have control of their emotions. They'll understand like all of this other stuff. Like they'll be on a higher spiritual plane because they've done the spiritual work. The individual didn't even understand anything in regards to the New Testament. It was always about the Old Testament. That's the reason why I take the angle that I take with Dowell, because he's only preaching and teaching the old shit, the Old Testament. He's not introducing these saints to understanding the truth in Yeshua, as to where a lot of this doctrine that he pushes that will force them into submission will be out the window, because Yeshua preached something different. The disciples behaved differently. If he truly exposed the real truth, then guess what? Accountability will be had in Straitway. But he's only wanting to stick and really reveal the truth in the Old Testament because he can keep them submitted. He can keep them submitted, keep their minds focused on other things other than the truth of the gospel. There's no way that this young lady should have been living in that land for that long and not been poured into spiritually, or being able to unpack some things, or be able to relieve herself from demonic forces that's tormenting her, like literally. But she had no time because there was no opportunity for rest, really, for being able to recoup or search within herself to understand the wickedness within self. Where's the hypocrisies at? This is the reason why I tell you, like, it's so important to dwell alone with Yah and then bring yourself back into fellowship. Dwell alone for a while. Understand who you are. Understand what demons you got to overcome and what you're suffering from before you task other people to deal with your bullshit. Allow yourself to deal with it between yourself and the Father first. Understanding spiritual combat, spiritual warfare, and how Satan is trying to utilize you to destroy the body of the Messiah. He's going to reveal that to you when you're dwelling alone. He's going to reveal it to you because you're going to have certain desires of the flesh. And those desires will let you know how you're going to perform in the body of the Messiah. Sometimes you got to dwell alone for a little bit. Then get back with them. Then click back up. Then go ahead and start. Don't forsake the fellowship of the saints. Yeah, don't like not ever return. But sometimes you got to have your wilderness experience. Sometimes you got to go and wander the desert for a while until you figure it out. You don't think that Paul, when he was on his road to Damascus, that he didn't wander the desert for a while? A lot of his premonitions came from when he was out there alone, when he was walking to from one city to the next, when he was on his road to Damascus. A lot of his experiences and connecting with people, his building his relationship with the Father, he was on his way to the next city. He was moving and walking on foot, right? Traveling. Plenty of opportunities to look up in the sky, to pray, to fast, to build a relationship solo before connecting with the people. Sometimes it would be for days on end. It'll literally be for days. He'll be walking for days. He might run out of food, so he's fasting for the next 2-3 days, for the next week. Even in one of them, Paul grew his hair out. He grew his hair out. He had longer hair. He grew his hair out. And I bring it up. I gotta grab the scripture on it, but he grew his hair out for a little bit. And the moment he made it to the next city, right, that's when he cut his hair. He cut it, but he grew it out unto the glory of the Father. And he didn't want to cut it until he made it to that particular city. But he did it though, on the connection to the Father, with the connection to the Father. So when you're doing things, right, you're doing it to the glory, right? The glory of the Father, doing it unto his glory. Sometimes you got to get with somebody. Sometimes you got to, you're going to do it on the glory of the Father. But you're always going to receive that brother in love and try to talk to the brother and get him to repent or whatever it may be. But in love, it's always going to be love. You know, even if we got to go to war afterwards, it's still going to be love. Still going to be love. You're still going to be embraced. You understand what I'm saying? But that's how you're supposed to really behave when you're in Israel. After you're fighting and bickering and arguing, guess what? Once you find a resolution, then you need to get back to loving. Get to forgiveness. But yeah. So I really wanted to play some of those clips there. I want you guys to check it out. If you have not checked out her testimony or this part 1 right here in its entirety, we're going to have her on live talking about her experience. We're going to do a deep dive, y'all. We got plenty of questions. I'm going to throw some promos out there too, so you guys can be reminded, and I'm going to set it up because you don't want to miss this, y'all. You don't want to miss this testimony. It's going to be powerful, and it's really going to hit it's really going to hit Dowell and the rest of those wicked ass leaders over there where it hurt. It's really going to hit them hard. I promise you it's going to hit them hard. It really is. So y'all want to be prepared for that. I want to go ahead and move on to what Dowell had to say in regards to a couple things. And the reason why, when I'm talking to the men here, we got to be prepared, because guess what? He's going to influence these young men to do certain things, right? To put themselves out here in the most unrighteous manner. Okay. So you got to be prepared. You got to prepare yourself, your house. You got to prepare all of that. Let's listen in as to what he said right here in this timestamp. Let's take a listen.
I'm sorry, over here Straitway with developing men. Yes. Because what's coming down the pipe, we don't need men. Oh yeah. We don't need warriors. Oh yeah. Because a lot of these warriors going to end up dying for what they believe in. Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah. My only concern is we have to make sure, and I'm so glad that the Father's doing this, that a lot of y'all weak ass people, I'm glad y'all gone, because we don't need y'all seed in any of y'all women. Right. Can you imagine what y'all offspring is going to be like? You think about this, man. Y'all remember them?
Now, we've heard rhetoric like this before from Jim Jones, from a lot of the rest of these co-leaders. Listen, you got to know when he's encouraging individuals to stand up like this, right? And saying that something's coming down the pike, you're going to have to prepare yourself, because you're going to have to sacrifice your life for whatever Dowell has taught you. Whatever he's taught you, you're sacrificing your life for his doctrine. And if you fail to crack open that book and read and study it for yourself and do your own due diligence, then guess what? You're going to do yourself a great disservice. It was very disheartening, right? When I'm in Houston, okay? When I'm in Houston, man, and I'm talking to these brothers, listen, I'm going to tell y'all this story, this testimony right now, just so you can have an understanding. I haven't told this testimony before, but I need you guys to listen to me very closely, and how the Father had me test these brothers. You understand what I'm saying? We in a group called Signal. We're in a Signal app. And something came up in regards to divorce remarriage. And me personally, I'm studying the facts, right? Because I'm hearing Geno Jennings and I'm also hearing Dowell. You know what I mean? I'm hearing both sides. Some scriptures raised some questions for me. So I went to seek an understanding through the Father, not through Dowell, not through Geno, through the Father, for the Father to tell me and give me premonition as to what this scripture is trying to say. What is it trying to tell me? What is it trying to relay the message of during those times at that moment? You understand what I'm saying? And the Father did give me that premonition. He did give me a level of understanding that the times that they were in during that time, they were addressing a certain point. They were addressing certain things during that time when it came to divorce. Now, they had a real issue with the men divorcing women for no reason. They slept with them. They did whatever with them. And once they got bored of them, they let them go and they went and did whatever they wanted with other women. And this was very unethical. So Yeshua made it a point to be sure that he gave them understanding that will be no more. You won't continue to abuse the daughters of Zion and throwing them to the wayside and making them whores. You understand? Because they have no covering now. So we have to have an understanding as to what Yeshua was truly addressing during that time is men who get bored and just toss a woman to the side like she's a toy. Like that will be no more. You understand what I'm saying? There needs to be real reasons why you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So he's addressing that. The Father gave me more of an understanding, and I took that and I was like, and I reached out to these brothers in that Signal app, okay? And I said, without watching any of Dowell's videos, recent videos that he's put out on divorce remarriage, without watching it, can y'all tell me what this scripture means? And I posted the scripture in the chat. Well, I mean, one by one, the brothers started to try to answer the question. And it was a thing as to where they couldn't really answer it. They had to actually, and I asked them, have you studied this for yourself? None of them studied it for themselves. Some of them did attempt to answer it. We had a couple brothers who did answer it, right? But the response was this. They said that I was posting that in there to show confusion and discord, to show strife, contention is what the claims were from what's the guy's name? Howard. He said that I was showing strife and contention and trying to show discord amongst the brethren because I said, hey, don't go listen to Pastor Dowell and what he said. No, I told you, don't go and listen to what he's saying right now. You use your own mind, use your own brain and answer the question for yourself. If you studied the matter, guess what? You're going to have the answer for it. But if you haven't studied it, if you don't do your own due diligence, it means you blindly are following a man in his own doctrine, and you're not going to seek after the answers yourself. You're not being a Berean and actually challenging the positions of a man. You're not challenging the position. How you consider yourself to be an actual man, and you'll go based on whatever anybody tells you. If you but admire their position. Oh, he just got a position in life, and well, I admire him as a man. And you're just going to fold and confine to that. You're just going to go with whatever, go along and get along because of a man's position, and you're not going to have your own autonomy. How can you consider yourself to be a real man? I don't care what time clock you punch. I don't care what 9 to 5 you got. I don't care how much money you make. If you can't stand on your own 10 toes, you're not a man, bro. If you haven't suffered in this world and went through trials and tribulations and had to overcome, you're not a man. You're still a boy. What was the rite of passage decades ago? What was the rite of passage in these tribes for boys to become real men? You were sent out into the wilderness with a string and a hook and no clothes. You were butt naked and you had to go out there and actually survive. That was your rite of passage. Not only that, they may have sent you out there with the same boys that are around in your age group. And some of those boys, you may have to fight them off of you. You may have had to fight bears and, create your own spear in order to take down wolves and bears. That was your rite of passage, suffering in order to become a man. And you consider yourself to be a man when you're in a ministry listening to whatever this guy tells you, and you're not even challenging it. You're not even going to actually seek out the answers for yourself to see what the Father has told you. You can't call yourself a man if you haven't done that, your own due diligence. If you don't do your own due diligence and diligently seek the answer to a lot of these things, can't call yourself a man. Can't consider yourself that. So yeah, absolutely. They labeled it as that. And I'm like, well, no, you're missing the point. The point is an exercise. It's to see who's in the book, who's in the word, who's doing it for themselves and who's doing it for Dowell. I wanted to know because I already had speculations upon my return that, listen, these brothers are man worshiping. And this is one of the major reasons why I didn't want to come back. But I came back anyway, just to see what the Father would do, to see if he really wanted me to move it with this ministry or not. And obviously he didn't. Obviously he wanted me to collect more data. More information is what he wanted. But my thing is that the man worship, the favoritism was abundant. But one of my number one reasons why is because I saw the way that Dowell handled Yaqui, and I totally disagreed with it 100%. And I'm like, listen, this guy can't even get that right with his brothers, with his sisters. I mean, with his brother. He completely skipped the step. He completely went out of the confines of the book. He didn't get it right. So, you know, gathering data is one of the things that I'm for sure I return there for, is to gather more data, to get more information as to how this ministry is truly operating, what spirit is on them. And my thing is this: man worship is really one of the things for sure. They will blindly follow whatever the doctrine is being pushed. And that me asking that question in that signal group, right? And the way that they responded in regards to saying that I was trying to do something when really I was just trying to have simple and open dialogue based on our own minds, based on our own autonomy and what we studied and learned. And they spun it and made it seem like I said, hey, don't go listen to him. Don't listen to that. They made it something negative out of something that should have been more positive. It was a great conversation. It actually opened up the floor for more biblical conversations, a great topic. You understand what I'm saying? For people to actually go do their own due diligence. And it kind of was spun into something that was bad. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I'm just trying to get y'all to think. You feel me? I'm just trying to get y'all to think. That's it. I'm being a brother. We just having conversation. But yeah, that's my point that I'm raising up when he says that there will be sacrificing themselves for what they believe. And if they only believe in Dowell's doctrine, then they're going to be sacrificing themselves for his belief, for what he believes, the things that he hangs true to when it comes to the Essenes. A lot of this stuff that he believes is what they'll sacrifice themselves for. And that's a dangerous and a slippery slope. You understand what I'm saying? Because obviously he doesn't have it right. Obviously there's some things that he's lacking that he needs to fix and he needs to tighten up on. One of the things is the manipulation of the people, manipulating their minds by using the scriptures, using the Old Testament to get them to submit or quit. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things that we can actually identify here when it comes to this ministry. You understand what I mean? You hear it from Sister Ray in her testimony. Like, shout out to Sister Ray. And my thing is that we had the link in the chat. So you guys go make sure that you subscribe to her channel, and you guys go watch the rest of that testimony. But for sure, these things that he's speaking about is an obvious no. It is an obvious red flag. It's an obvious listen. A lot of you brothers out here speaking against Dowell, you got to be prepared. You got to train, because I promise you right now, I promise you, fatigue, if you out of breath, shortness of breath, fatigue will make a coward of us all. So if you're out of shape, then you got to know that you could easily be defeated, right? You got to understand that. But you need to be prepared. You need to be ready, because, you know, who's to say that he's not trying to make war with you? You understand what I'm saying? So fatigue will make a coward of us all. We got to be prepared. We got to be ready. Got to do our due diligence in keeping ourselves healthy, And we got to make sure that we in this thing. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to be the ones to protect our family, protect the flock, protect those who are amongst us, protect each other when we're in sweet fellowship with each other, understanding the code of ethics. And that's one of the biggest things with a lot of these individuals, right? In Straitway, a lot of these brothers, you know, you got individuals like Fake and Gay who make claims of, oh, they had nothing good to say about me. Listen, there's plenty they had good to say. You can catch one in the comment section saying that I was an asset in Michigan, in which I was a huge asset. But as I am, these brothers and mediocre around me was not a thing. You could, like me personally, I don't want you to be mediocre around me. I'm sorry. You got to be better. I'm sorry. You got to be better than me. Are you just as good? Are close enough? At least trying. And then that's what you don't like, is somebody pushing you to be better. You don't like that. You prefer to be comfortable. You prefer to be at ease in Zion, a lot of them. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm definitely going to say something. And he, you know, who is rebuketh in the gate is hated. I'm not finna pull no punches. I'm going to tell you, listen, bro, you got to pick that. Hold on, wait a minute. You got to pick that up because I ain't got time for that. But as men, we should push each other that way. We should be pushing each other. We should be giving each other encouragement, telling each other when we're slacking, right? Not in just competing pure hatred. I've always offered my services for free, right? As you guys seen in some other live streams, I've done some work for free for them, but I've always offered my services for free to help them out, help them along, and you know, in everything. It's not a thing. It's where I'm talking trash about you, putting you down, and not trying to pour into you, because it's always a pouring into. You understand what I'm saying? At least trying to, right? Trying my best to allow my gifts to make room for me, but pouring into, because I don't want to just give you a problem with no real solution, right? Oh man, you're a loser. You're a shit person. You're a loser. You're a loser. You don't know how to get yourself motivated. I'm just telling you this. It's totally different from me saying that, right? And then showing you how not to be, right? And men who can receive that type of talk are usually men who are going to be very successful in life, because they can receive it and not be offended, right? And understanding the pure threat between two men, regardless, you call another man a loser. If he's a real man and understand he can be a real threat, he's going to receive the comment of being a loser and say, why do you think I'm a loser? What makes you think that? Let me hear you validate the claims of me being a loser. And if you're right, guess what? I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do what it takes not to be a loser. You know, I was in a dining hall during Passover, y'all. I was in a dining hall and it was late at night, and the day was coming to a close. Okay. And I was on my way out of the building, you know, and before I even left out, Gideon, I believe, called something out. He said something to me, and I won't forget this, because I don't know why people think that I'm responding in a certain way, or that I would respond in a certain way. I think people see me or see me and they see my aura and they believe that I'm like arrogant or something like that, or too much confidence, right? Overly confident or whatever, prideful is what they'll try to label me as, when no, it's just I'm confident in who I am. I'm sure of myself in the Father. So, but Gideon said some things to me and said that I was the same person that I've always been. He rebuked me. He was rebuking me sharply. And my only response to Gideon was, well, tell me why you think that. I genuinely wanted to know. You know why I really wanted to know why he said that, you know, I was who I was always, that I haven't grown or whatever, everything that he was saying to me that night. People thought I was hurt. People thought it was crushing me. No, I wanted the motivation from it. I wanted to know why he believed that, so I can identify it within myself to see if it was some validity to it, to see if it can be validated. And if it was valid, then guess what I was going to be actively working to do? Purge it out of myself to make myself better if I agreed. You understand what I'm saying? There's two different type of men in this society. Men who listen to things for an offense, and you have men who listen to things for growth. You got to determine which one you are. And the one that is most successful is the one who listens to constructive criticism for growth. Women, it's not your job to give a man constructive criticism. It's your job to support him, to tell him that all the dumbass little decisions and mistakes that he made was the greatest thing you ever saw, and to pray for him. I promise you, he would see that as a sign of respect and admonishment. He would love you even more for it. And then if he asks you for your opinion in regards to what went wrong, you give him an honest but gentle response, because you don't want to tear your man down. You want to build him up and let him know he needs to learn from these mistakes without yelling at him. You understand what I'm saying? But by loving on him appropriately, giving him an opportunity to see what mistakes he made, right? Because he came and asked you. But I promise you, if you just offer it up to him, he's going to clam up on you. He will receive it better from other men, other peers, right? Other men that he respect. He will receive that a lot better than he would for you. So I would, if I were you, as a woman who may be married to your man and you love him to death, listen, encourage him to get around other men, other peers, someone who can hold him accountable, maybe even a mentor. Right? Encourage these things, because that'll help you guys' marriage even the more so, but it takes you out of the hot seat, because it ain't gonna, think about all the times if you're a woman who addressed him and told him his mistakes, right? Let's say that. Think about all the times you guys got into an argument after you told him about those mistakes. Think about it. I want you to think about it for a minute. How many times was it every time? Did at any point did he receive you right away? Now you got some men who's going to be very offended that you've done that, and then later come back and say, you know what, you were right, I apologize. Now these are real men, okay? But at first, he's not trying to hear that from his woman. You understand what I'm saying? He's trying to conquer earth. So if he feels like that you doubting him, then that's gonna make him not feel like you love him or respect him. It makes him feel like that you're losing respect and love for him, right? So then he gets defensive. So that's the biggest thing. How many times has it worked out for you, right? Just saying. Find ways to maneuver around that, building your man up, understanding how your man and how he is. You got to learn him. If he can handle you telling him about his mistake, then guess what? I guess you guys just have that relationship. Hallelujah. Y'all keep doing your thing. If it works, it works. But most men I know, the last thing they want their woman to tell them is about a bunch of shit that they messed up. I mean, we're literally the type of people, right? We're the type of creatures, men are, who will get a box of something that needs to be assembled, like an entertainment center or something like that. And the first thing we do is toss out the instruction manual, because who needs that shit, right? Because who needs that anyway? And we'll wing it. You got to understand, you know what I mean? That this is what we do. This is who we are, right? And so if mistakes are made, then listen, we probably already beat ourselves down 50 times before you opened your mouth and said something. You understand what I'm saying? So allow that conviction, allow us to deal with it. Because honestly, we didn't beat ourselves down 50 times before you even said anything. So we already did the work. Okay. We don't need you coming and doing the work too. Women, like, y'all just staying, y'all loving. It's all right, babe. We'll do better next time. Type of vibe. That's what you need, man. It's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll do better next time. Well, next time we might just do it. We should probably do it like this, then like that. What do you think? Okay, well, yeah, maybe next time, it's all right, type of thing. This is a more softer approach, Either way, I know that I'm rambling. I'm going on and on about some shit now. So, just a level of understanding, though. Understanding, when it comes to, things with men, right? Rely on Jesus and his word. He will work all things out for the good. Absolutely. You got to rely on Yeshua. You got to rely on Jesus and his word and what he's saying. And it's going to work out at all times. You understand what I mean? But in his word, he would teach you how to deal with each other in love and also in respect and obedience. And submission is a word that's been used often, but I believe that there's a negative stigma on it when truly it should be more positive. It's not submission in slavery terms, it's submission in cooperation terms. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, have salt in yourself, not in others. Absolutely. That's very good. I'm going to drop the link here because I'm going to jump in the comment section with you guys, and then we're going to be closing this out. I appreciate you guys joining me, man. And, I appreciate you guys joining. So I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wishes to join the conversation. You can do so. This is about family, y'all. This is about family. This is about love. This is about us being men and taking care of business. It's about, motivation, all these things. We're touching on some real topics, but we're using what's currently what we're looking at in order to really instill that in ourselves, understanding the mistakes that's being made for some of these people and saying, you know what, I don't think I want to be this simp loser who only will go based on what one man says and never challenge the position of that man, right? Who creates the losers? The Most High gives free will to choose. Absolutely. And when you choose that, when you make those choices, you're not choosing to be closer to the Father. You're choosing to be further away from him, because the Father don't want you behaving like a sloth or a sluggard or lazy, right? He don't want you doing that. He says, consider the ant, thou sluggard, right? He wants you to win. He wants you to overcome and conquer. You understand what I'm saying? So absolutely. Gives free will. Absolutely. You got a choice. You got a choice to be working for the enemy, or you can work for the Most High and constantly seeking ways to conquer earth. They talk about being real men, yet they can't take a presence of a real man. Yeah, I mean, it gets really intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Really intimidating. And you see some of them, they get real soft about it, and they start speaking in certain ways that they think that the word is going to cut. Oh, I'm going to speak like this and try to insult him as much as I possibly can. And they do the best they can at that, right? Not knowing that, hey, yo, you're not phasing nobody, and so they'll take a level of insult, kind of like, so that's what they do that as well. If you're not a simp or walking gingerly around them, you're rebellious. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not bowing down to the links to the likes of yous. Yeah, I'm not bowing down to the likes of you. Yeah, so that is true. King One, yo, that is spot on. Yes, if you're not a simp, if you're not walking around like you know what I'm saying, you're rebellious in their eyes. If you're assertive, if you're an assertive man, you get charges levied against you that you just wanted to usurp authority. You just wanted to take a position of leadership. That's the charges you get levied against you, because you're an assertive man and you have an aura about you that people respect and admire immediately once they meet you. And you can't help who you are. This is just who you are, right? But they label it as you trying to do something malicious to someone else, or something malicious to their group. You understand what I'm saying? Because they can't handle the aura, the essence, the spirit of a man in the presence of one who holds the room, right? Who holds authority in a room, who holds his composure in a room. You understand what I'm saying? That's when they start getting real intimidated. That's when they start to label you as something that you're not, because guess what? They are intimidated by you. You scare them. You terrify them when you show up. So they can't stand being in the same room with you, and a lot of them want to try to pick on you. Well, why pick on me? Like, what are you? Yeah, you. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me because I'll go through it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about y'all other fellas too who know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know how they be acting and behaving when you hold in a room, when you got an aura about you, a presence, and you move like somebody that needs to be, that demands respect without even having to say I demand respect. Your aura speaks that to where people say, you know what? I gotta respect this guy. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't on no chump stuff. It ain't on no, oh, I'm gonna submit to them because I feel like he's stronger than me. No, it's some real alpha man to alpha man type shit. Like literally, another alpha who can see another alpha man will respect that man. It's a level of respect. It's a level of understanding. Already we've connected. We've already had a full-blown conversation, and y'all didn't even hear us talk and say one word. You understand what I'm saying? And we had a full-blown conversation already, understanding what positions that we play in roles, right? In this pact. You understand what I mean? And you can only understand that as if you are a true alpha, if you're a true man who holds himself in that way, and that aura about you, you truly hold it, and you're in the room with other men who hold that same essence. That's the only time you can really relate. You understand what I mean? And if you hold the room with those men, you can hold your own. Listen, you already know, you've been there before. So that's one of the biggest things. You know what I mean? So he's absolutely right when he says that. They start to label you as rebellious and all this other stuff because you hold a room. People automatically want to respect you when they see you. You understand what I'm saying? You got an aura about you. You got a vibe about you. It is what it is, right? You should call your brothers in Christ losers. You shouldn't call your brothers in Christ losers. God doesn't create losers. Well, I beg to differ. I think that the Father creates plenty, right? And they have choices. And like you said, I think you said a little bit further down, this autonomy. They can choose to be that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, calling it out in them, are we not tasked to show a brother his sin? If he's lazy, are you not supposed to tell him, hey, bro, you're lazy? Aren't you tasked, pursuant to Leviticus 5:1, right? To tell them of their sins, to warn them of iniquities and transgressions. I believe laziness is one of the sins, one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Being lazy is a part of that. So I would disagree with a lot of that. You know, I would disagree with that statement, because yeah, he created you, but don't mean he wants you to take on this spirit of slothfulness, a slothful spirit, a lazy spirit. You understand what I'm saying? If you calling your brother a loser, right, but you're doing what you can to pour into your brother, right, to make him not a loser, then guess what? You're doing your due diligence as a brother. But if you just calling him a loser and you beating him down and doing the best you can to keep him down, then guess what? You're not. You're being an enemy to him. You understand what I'm saying? You're being an enemy to him. So you got to know, like, what's the best way to help your brother? What's the best way to get more action out of him, to get him to move in a direction that more resembled who he truly is, which is in the image of the Most High, right? Made in the image of him, in which the Most High is only formed and created conquerors. We should, as men, be conquerors. We should conquer earth. We should conquer demons. We should conquer devils. These are things that we should conquer. We should conquer tasks for the day. We should conquer being a husband. We should conquer being a brother, right? We should conquer at these things. We should do the best we can. And when somebody is not putting forth their best efforts, then we should call that out within our brothers. We should call it out. We should tell them what's up. Should give it to them straight. That's the only way that I would want to receive it. That's it. We're it's our duty to do that. All right. So we're going to do scriptures here. So let me ask you this. When Jesus called the scribes and Pharisees, when he called them hypocrites, when he called them, you know, uh, you know, when he said they were full of dead man's bones and hypocrisies, when he said all of this stuff, right? And you're saying like, hey, we should, when he called them all of these things, hypocrites, all these other things, right? When in the Bible they call older men, they can be old fools, right? As well. When they're doing all of this, is that applied to them as well? Because Jesus showed it lay into their ass. He showed it say some things to them that made them, those were real insults during that time. He was insulting them like heavy. So my question is this, right? Does that also apply? Now, I usually say these things, right? The conditions of your heart. So when you say the word loser to somebody, right? Man, you're a loser. And you're saying it out of malice and you're trying to tear them down. That's a totally different response to telling them, hey, bro, you got a losing mentality. You're moving like you don't want to achieve anything in life. Let me show you how this is done. Listen, that's more love than anybody could ever give somebody. There's two different ways to be able to present this type of information. When Yeshua, Jesus was telling them that they were hypocrites, right? And they were like onto whitened sepulchres. Outwardly, they appeared to be holy, but inwardly, they were full of hypocrisies and full of dead man's bones. When he's saying all of this stuff, right? When he's insulting these guys in open format in front of all of Israel, is he looking and seeking to tear them down? Or is this constructive criticism in regards to them bringing them to repentance and turning away from the hypocrisy? Where's his heart at when he's saying what he's saying? Where's his heart? Where's his heart at? And I think that's what's really important. When you telling your brother, hey, bro, you lazy as hell. You need to get about your business and stop being so damn lazy. We need to get out here and do A, B, and C. Come to the gym with me. Let's do this. Let's do this. You actively are giving them solutions and trying to be there for the brother. But guess what? That brother didn't start getting up. He started getting active. He started accomplishing things. He started being an overcomer. He started to conquer life because you kept it real with him. And who's he going to thank? He's going to thank the Most High, and he's going to thank the brother who was a real brother to him. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's going to thank the brother who was a real brother to him. Let's go real quick to, I'm gonna do this. Let's go to Proverbs. We're going to go to Proverbs 31. Because apparently we shouldn't be as men, we should be letting each other just be lazy ass, slothful ass losers. We shouldn't appear into nobody and try to tell them, hey man, you messing up. You lazy. We're not supposed to, we shouldn't be doing none of that. We shouldn't be judging righteously, right? And opening our mouth. Apparently that's what he's saying. So let me see this. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Proverbs 31:9. And we're going to get some other scriptures that tells us that we need to be opening our mouth and saying something about this. Right? Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause for the poor and the needy, for those who need it. What if this brother is out here doing what he's doing, right? And he's not doing anything that's beneficial to his family. He's not working hard. He's doing this. He's very lazy. Brother, you a loser. You're being lazy. You need to do this. You got to get up. Your family needs you. Let's say that you did that and the brother ain't had tough love like that before. So he gets up and he's motivated now to prove you wrong. And he goes out and he starts to conquer life, conquer earth. Did you not do that brother a great service? Did you not love on that brother? Did you not? You did. I believe you did. I believe you showed him great love. I believe you showed him great charity, fervent. Because guess what? Now he's able to move. So how can you say don't be a loser without? Okay, so you tell me this. How could Yeshua say that they were full of dead man's bones without insulting them, without bringing insults to them and causing a ruckus or causing strife? You tell me that. How? I'm just curious. But you know, this is my thing though, right? When people think that they got it all figured out, and then when they start talking about Yeshua, right? And Yeshua would do this, Yeshua would do that. Well, Yeshua will bless those, who curse him, and he will love those who hate him. You understand what I'm saying? Well, Yeshua would do this and that. Well, yeah, he would do all of that, and he would do more. Ain't that real love when you start to tell them the truth about themselves? When you be honest with them, ain't that real love? When he's being honest with them, right? And he's opening up his mouth and he's judging righteously, right? Isn't he being honest? Even if we were to go and read, right? We're going to Matthew 23. And speak Jesus to the multitude and his disciples. Matthew 23. Okay, ye fools. This is Jesus talking. Listen, woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say what? Whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools. We got Yeshua calling the scribes and the Pharisees. As you keep saying, we shouldn't be calling them fools. Ye fools. Here's Yeshua calling the scribes and Pharisees fools and blind. You see how quickly we believe something and how quickly we think ourselves to be something and think that, oh, what we're doing, we shouldn't be saying loser and calling them fools. Well, why don't you go tell Yeshua to stop calling the scribes and the Pharisees fools? I don't understand why people keep taking this position. Like they don't know Christ. Like they don't know how he spoke, how he talked, how he gave his message, how he delivered it. Once more, he told them again, ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift or the altar, the sanctification, the sanctifieth the gift. Called him a fool once again. How many times is he going to call him a fool and a hypocrite? How many times? Joshua. How many times? Now, while we're on this journey, Joshua, and we're discovering the 8 woes of Christ as he's addressing the scribes and the Pharisees, and we start to see that he's calling them hypocrites. Ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, destruction upon you. Destruction, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites. For ye devours windows, houses, and for a precinct make long prayer, wasting their time, wearing out the patience of the saints. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. We shouldn't be calling each other. We shouldn't be saying fool. We shouldn't be saying that. But Yeshua's calling them a fool. Yeshua just got done calling the scribes and Pharisees fools. He basically called them a loser. He basically called them a loser. Y'all are losers. Not to add to the word or whatever, take away from it, but he called them fools. God is God. The rules don't know. Man, come on, man. So you basically saying that we are not made in the image of the Most High, Yah. That he's given us direct instruction. Hey, listen, don't call him no fool, even though I don't do as I say, not as I do. I don't think that we serve an Almighty. He's full of autonomy. The example, the epitome of righteousness is Yeshua, is Jesus. I think that you're trying to move the goalposts, Joshua. I think you're trying to, now that you see it flying directly into your face, into your mouth, you're like trying to move the goalpost now. You're another one of those false teachers out here trying to fleece a flock, trying to deceive people. I'm going to tell you straight to your face. I'm going to let your wicked ass know exactly who you is. And if you are a losing ass, listen, I'm going to tell you you're a loser. I'm going to tell you you're a fool to your face. That's foolish. And hopes that I'll save your soul. But if it don't work out, then guess what? You weren't man enough to receive the rebuke. It just is what it is. So my thing is this, right? How am I supposed to give a damn about what you say now? Because Yeshua himself even is saying it. God don't care. Listen, my thing is this. That's completely inaccurate statement. God don't have to worry about that. God, completely inaccurate. Right? If we're reigning true to what you're saying, Joshua, and you're saying that we need to follow that type of doctrine, then why do you have long hair? When Paul explicitly said that is something that was a shame unto men during those times. It was tradition that was not what. So why aren't you keeping that? Why aren't you doing that? And I see you got longer hair. Let's stop cherry picking the word. Let's stop trying to figure it out. We know it was a tradition. We know that Paul was speaking of traditions, and there was a conflict during that time. He was just addressing the conflict that people didn't. It wasn't their custom for people for men to have longer hair during that time. It just wasn't their custom. So whenever you're talking about this right here, and you're trying to convince men not to be men and to push each other like real men, then you take that soft shit somewhere else. Take it somewhere else. Take the soft shit somewhere else. But me personally, I want my brothers to be developed. I want them to be able to grow. And I want to be able to keep it all the way 100 with them. If I see them slacking, I want them to keep it 100 with me. If they see me slacking, I want us to be able to push each other, because I believe that when men push each other that way, that we get the best performance out of each other when we're actively pushing each other like that. Think about all the times you kicked it with your homies, and then they used to talk down on your outfit or something. They used to talk trash about you. Y'all used to go back and forth. Y'all, listen, that was development. That was character development. That was taming you. That was tempering you so you can be able to handle more. This is what we do for each other when we get around each other. We're able to sharpen one another. How can we iron sharpening iron if we dull as hell? We don't want to tell each other the truth plainly, like Yeshua did for the scribes and Pharisees and said, ye fools, you're blind. You can't see, you fools. All of a sudden now, Yeshua's got, he can do whatever he want to do. We can't do that. What happened when he said that the works that I do, ye shall do and more, for I go unto the Father? Well, didn't he do these works right here and calling them fools and calling them out and rebuking them? Let's see if we can get that scripture real quick. This is the reason why you got to know the word. It's got to be in your heart a bit. You got to know the testimonies, because you know what? You got wicked, false ass teachers like Joshua here jumping in the chat, trying to preach and teach a different Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? Don't know what the hell he talking about. Oh, we shouldn't do this. Well, damn, why Jesus do it? Then why'd he do it? Then why he do it? Let's go. John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, I believe. Anybody else? He that believeth on me, the works, the actions, the performance, whatever he said, whatever he did during that time, the works that I do shall he do also, right? And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto the Father. If you believe in Yahshua, if you believe in Jesus, then you're going to perform the same works. You're going to be casting out devils. You're going to be healing the sick, cleansing the lepers. You're going to be doing a lot of things that he was able to do in regards. And also that does not exclude rebuking, discernment, rebuking righteously, openly, calling them fools if they're behaving like fools. Those works are what you're going to do. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me, are for the very works' sake. I am in the Father, and the Father is in within me, and believe that for the very works' sake. But you got them in the chat talking about some, oh, we ain't supposed to. And then listen, they get upset when you start bringing out the truth. Notice how I said, don't be a moron. I didn't call you a moron. Listen, bro, my thing is this. Why call me a moron? How am I a moron? Because I'm pointing out the facts and the truth that Yeshua said that we should do the works. And those works, a part of those works is rebuking and discernment. Righteously rebuking. Calling people fools is a part of that. If they're behaving like a fool, Yeshua didn't say you're behaving like a fool and like you're blind. He said, you with concrete people, you fools, and you're blind. You're saying without taking accountability. Come on. I argue with a baby in Christ. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to help the brother. I'm trying to help the brother with understanding, because obviously he don't really get it. And you know, it is what it is. They say he a teacher. I don't know, Joshua. I don't agree. Let's agree to disagree. Either way, I don't know you personally. I don't have a personal issue with you. I don't know you. You know what I mean? You're defending what doctrine you believe. I mean, listen, it's honorable. It's honorable for you to defend it. But don't get upset when I start pointing out flaws in it. Just embrace it. Then go reconsider your doctrine. Then go study your doctrine. Then go see if you can fortify your own doctrine. And then come back and explain to me why Yeshua or Jesus called people fools and then said the works that he did, we shall do, and many more, for he goes on to the Father. You got to really explain these things to me. Because if I'm not allowed to call somebody a loser or a fool and call it like it is, so I can be able to help them with spiritual growth, physical growth, whatever it may be, then I also got to understand why Yeshua was capable of it. And when he said I should do the same thing he did, I don't know. Demons have names, and when you press their buttons, they come unhinged. The demons have to be dug out and cast out in the name of Yeshua. Absolutely. You need those demons cast out of you. You are manifesting severely. Do you have the spirit of anger? I don't know. Who's he addressing? Because I don't believe I was angry. Masked Man. I like that gorilla photo. I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty dope. Masked Man. Bless you. Bless you. Good to see you in this thing. The accuser, Satan, I was just posting scripture. Obviously, your demons have complete possession of you. The accuser I didn't see you post any scripture, bro. Yeah, I didn't see you post any scripture. I was late in the chat. I don't know who are you talking to though. Like honestly, because we're getting a lot of demon talk and people possessed, and I don't understand why though. I'm confused. I'm about ready to just pack you up real quick because it's like, yo, we getting into too much. I'm just saying I disagree with your doctrine, bro. That's it. You got some doctrine you feel you believe in. I disagree. Sorry. By your evil fruits, I recognize you: anger, pride, strife, jealousy. I don't know. Who's he talking to? I'm trying to figure out who he's talking to. Is he talking to you, Vic? Who's this guy talking to? I'm just curious. I know he ain't talking to me because listen, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I ain't got none of that shit. You know, I'm totally fine. I just disagree, bro. Like, can we disagree? Like, can two men disagree on a doctrine? Because, you know, I'm just still going to hang true to that. You know, that Yeshua said that I will perform the same works, meaning I will discern the same as him. I will rebuke the same as him. He called the scribes and Pharisees fools. He was in his 30s. And those men were in their 50s and 60s. And I'm just thinking, like, you know what? You can really get off in somebody's rear end. You know what I'm saying? Because Yeshua, he discerned, rebuked, reproved, called them fools, called them hypocrites, full of dead man's bones, whitened sepulchres. Outwardly, you're pure, beautiful, but inwardly, you're full of hypocrisies and all iniquities and transgressions. Those were real insults back then, y'all. Those were real insults. Like, they were insulting. Like, that hurts. That hurt. That hurt their reputation. It hurt their pride. It hurt their ego. It hurt everything. You understand? Those were real insults. It's like telling somebody, "Hey, man, you a bitch." It's like, "Hey, man, you being a real bitch, or you are a bitch." Like, you know, it's like saying that today. You know what I'm saying? Back then, those were some real insults. He was really digging in them. He wasn't sparing them, not even a little bit. Mods, it's time. Yeah, we gotta pack this guy up. You know, he's not getting it. We tried our best. You know, I don't know. He's getting into name calling, and that's what happens, yo. When these guys are defeated by the word, the very word that they're trying to use, and they're trying to say this and that. When they're defeated by that. Like, where's the blessing? Where did he bless the scribes and Pharisees when he talked to them? Where he blessed them? You go back. He blessed them out. He blessed them out, but he wasn't sitting there, "Oh, bless y'all. All this other, this is what I'm trying to say, right? What Yeshua is really trying to tell you is when he's saying to bless those who curse you and to love those who hate you, he's just trying to stop the cycle of hatred, to stop the cycle of cursing, right? He's trying to stop the evil and wicked cycle of just going back and forth and eye for an eye that leaves nobody with being able to earn and gain salvation. It only creates even more problems and issues. The same way he said that, you know, to turn the other cheek as a parable. You got to understand that these things that he's telling you to do is for you to be able to find peace, to find a clear conscience. He's not telling you these things because, he wants you to just willfully allow people to do evil towards you, right? He wants you to pray. He wants you to battle in the spirit. He wants you to do the things that you need to do as a believer. But he also wants you to find peace. So don't perpetuate the evil. Don't keep it up. Like when you see Fake and Gay over there, when you go to his channel, he's perpetuating evil. He recently said some dumb stuff about me stopping and talking about Sister Ashley because Pastor Rufus yanked my chain or something. And I'm like, yo, I'm not talking about them because they acknowledge that there was some wrongdoing. I don't need to beat down a dead horse. Like the roast is goddamn is cooked. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna overcook it? I'm gonna keep it cooking? Like, what am I do? I'm gonna burn the roast? Like, listen, it's cooked. It's tender. Let's see what happens with it. Let's see who can be fed by it. But like, this is the type of stuff that he's telling you that he does not want for your life. When you go over there to Fake and Gay, you see his whole catalog. You see the manifestation of what Yeshua was trying to preach and teach for you not to do, which is a bloodletting, which is a no resolution type of attitude, mentality, where you're not seeking peace or to be at peace. He wants you to find peace. He wants you to find rest. He wants you to be free. How do you free yourself? You got to free your conscious mind from evil, from sin, from wrongdoings, from bitterness. And in that way, you can operate on a higher level spiritually. Once you're able to free the subconscious, when you're able to free the conscious mind, we know that you stole from that damn grocery store when you were 10 years old. Why are you still condemning yourself about it now? You're 40. How long are you going to condemn yourself about that sin? This is what Yeshua was trying to get through to you. Just because you sin now and then you repented, you're still on your mind. You won't let it go. Somebody trespassed against you, and guess what you do? You continue to hash it out with them. You keep bringing up old shit. You saw that with Trey Moore when he came into the chat. He started bringing up old shit. Listen, it's still within you. There's no forgiveness. You haven't found peace yet. So he's trying to tell you it needs to stop. It needs to stop somewhere. Once you handle it, once it's been handled appropriately, you need to stop. Stop trying to pursue it. Stop trying to go at it. You need to find peace. Find peace. Free your mind. Free your subconscious mind. You understand what I'm saying? Don't allow the sin to torment you and to keep you condemned until you lose your salvation, because there's bitterness in your heart that's pent up, unforgiveness, all these other things that's pent up in you that the Old Testament, that the law brought into your life. Because an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth was the teachings. Curse those who curse you. Saw that it only condemned you and made you in a worse state. So we got to free you. We got to free your subconscious mind. We got to free you spiritually. You got to free your heart. Get all that bitterness out of there, that hatred, that all of that out of your heart. We got to cleanse you so you can understand proper repentance. We got to get you to understand that you shouldn't be holding a grudge against your brother. Forgiveness. How are we missing this? How are people missing this in this time and hour? And my thing is this, right? Rebuke and reprove and correction comes with that. If you means you got to call them a fool, just as Yeshua called the scribes and Pharisees fools, then you got to do what you got to do. But when they repent, you also got to receive them in that repentance. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you got to do some soul searching. And you got to find ways to actually forgive these people, right? Hey, Fake and Gay is just a guy who'll say anything for clicks and views. Yeah, I mean, honestly, tell you the truth. When you go over to this guy, and when they were saying that, right? And I'm like, yo, this guy is an epitome of it. And I'm like, yo, I see what these guys be talking about. Like, he really be saying some off the wall shit. And then when he says it, it's just so absolute. And I'll be like, yo, bro, you way off. Like, this is definitely for clicks. This is definitely for clicks, for likes, for whatever else he's trying to do. But I feel bad for the brother, man. I really do feel bad for him. I feel bad for him because, like, he don't understand what type of position he's putting his own soul in. While he's doing that, he's actually condemning himself to an eternal lake of fire. And I do the best that I can, even though, you know, I'm reaming his ass, right? And yeah, he's toned it down a bit, but he's still talking a little bit, right? He's toned it down a bit. I corrected him a little bit, so he ain't going as hard as he was. But my thing is, he's still talking. You get what I'm saying? And I feel bad for the guy because I don't think that he has peace. I believe that he doesn't have very much peace in his heart, in his spirit, in his life. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just trying to justify the reason why the bloodletting is what it is and how much controversy is on his channel. He's got a lot of controversy. There is no balance. He doesn't bring anybody real edification. It's all controversy. It's all combative. It's all trying to tear someone down, talking about, yeah, like you said, Ringo, talking about all these other people and condemning them, telling them they're going to hell. It's like, yo, the same judgment that you're trying to meet on the brother who's probably closer to the Father than you are, faking gay, is the same judgment that's going to come to you and your lies that you like to spread. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I feel bad for the brother, man, because I don't know if he's got anything else in him. I don't know if he's got it in him to bring a positive message, to motivate, to be able to help people in their marriageable life. Because like I said, it don't matter how many times your successes and your failures are all experience that can be shared with everybody to get them through life. It just is what it is. It makes you qualified to be able to talk about it. 7 years of marriage. And then the parts that failed. Listen, I had a 7-year marriage and I made that thing work. I can give you some information on that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I feel bad for him. I'm gonna pray for the brother. But it's just no need for me to address it. I've already made him out to be who he is. This is a lying hypocrite who sits there and makes up stories. And whatever he's fed, he'll run with it without any real proof and evidence of it. You know, do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Do your due diligence. Yeah, you gotta forgive him, honestly. You gotta forgive him. You definitely gotta, hallelujah, forgive him. Forgive him. I'm glad you forgive him because I don't need you to be bitter towards that guy. He's not worth it. He's not worth being bitter towards. I think he's just, honestly, I'm not gonna put any real labels on it, but I'm really confused as to why he takes the position he does, and I feel sorry for him. That's all I can say. Now we know how salty the kingdom of darkness is. Yeah, they get real, get real butt hurt. Amen. Bless you, bless you. Absolutely. Hallelujah. Bless you. Shalom, everyone. Truth hurts. Wicked people, it cuts their heart. Yes, I agree. But like AB 22, I agree. It does cut. It does cut their heart. And if they not prepared for it, they're just gonna get bitter. Ringo talked about those kind of spirits of disinformation. Yeah, disinformation. You just you just out here talking. And it is pretty interesting though to me. Oh, here, let me get my cup up. It's pretty interesting to me, but it's okay. I'll forgive them too. I'm working on forgiveness. I'm not gonna lie, for that situation. But I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna forgive him for that because I still want to bust his head open. I still want to whoop this motherfucking head. I ain't gonna lie. Sitting there lying on my family like that, putting your mouth on my family. Yeah. Sometimes there's a line that you shouldn't cross, and once you've crossed that line, it's like it's violence. You're like, listen, as men, we know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I just won't check his videos anymore. Yeah. I've given up on that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, look, if he say something else that is remotely, I got some people checking in. They might check in from time to time to hear if he's saying absolute statements that damages people's reputation, and that's in my circle, damaging their reputation. We gonna go after him because he won't come live and talk pop his stuff. He won't come live and talk about it. So since you won't come live and talk about it, we'll talk about it in other ways. You understand what I'm saying? Combat words. Yeah. Yep. That's right. Forgive and loose in the protective area. Yep. That's right. But I think it is just a level of, like you're a protector. Especially as men, like when we feel like that somebody's coming for ours, right? And we got that protective spirit and we got that warrior spirit. It's like, listen, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? And it's time to go until we satisfied with what the results are, right? And so that's the part where I'm at. Like, okay, it's not time to go. We good. We addressed what we needed to address. I got his ass real. Listen, we took care of it. Listen, we good. We good. No, nothing further. I'm saying when people talk about a man's family negatively, those are combat words. Absolutely. And they are. They are, yo. And I'm like, me personally, I'm like, yo, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I'm not gonna be able to catch you. I know that you gonna still be there. But it's all good. It's all good. Let me address you how I need to address you then. And it just so happens that I'm better at you. And when it comes to shit talking, I'm just better. You can't beat me. It just is what it is, faking gay. It's just get over it. You know what I'm saying? Get over it. Get over it. Straight Gay Ministries. You know what I mean? P. Diddy Dowell. Like, just get over it. You know, you can't fight this warfare. It just is what it is. You want to take it here, you're just not good enough. So you need to stop. You see, the Dowell stopped. He shut the hell up. Okay. He stopped. He's like, look, I'm not gonna do it. He got him some stress balls, y'all. And now he went the stress ball route. Now he's squeezing on the stress balls before he start saying some things that's gonna get him some trouble. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all better listen, y'all over there, y'all clapping seals over there. Y'all hear me? Listen up. I know y'all watching. You clapping seals over there. You guys over there doing all what you need to do to agree with Dowell and all this other stuff. Listen, y'all over there, y'all better make sure y'all check y'all daddy. Make sure y'all keep your daddy in line. Make sure that your daddy Dowell don't get out here and start getting out of the line, because y'all know that's y'all papa. You understand what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna teach y'all a thing or two about how to deal with your daddy. You understand what I'm saying?
Smack your goddamn daddy. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to smack this motherfucker. You gonna give back everything you took. That's how you smack. You gonna.
Yeah, keep your daddy Dowell in line. All right, keep your daddy Dowell in line over there. You clapping seals. Make sure he grab his stress balls. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure he grabbing them. Man, he better not say another word. Say something else. Say something else, Dowell. Huh? Say something else. Let me hear you say something else. Let me hear you say something. Let me hear you say something else, Dowell. Look. Yeah. I'm just saying. Y'all boys keep him in line. Make sure he's staying lined up, that he's doing what he's supposed to do. He get the stress balls out. Simple as that. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and land this plane here, man. I appreciate y'all joining me, man. It was a good time doing this live stream with y'all. When Worley talked about pressing on the demons to snitch on themselves, yeah, Dowell's amen corner, absolutely. But bless y'all, man. I appreciate you guys joining me here for Warsheep Podcast. We're gonna land this plane here. Just be prepared, man. We got the interview coming up next flock with Sister Ray. We're gonna be blowing the roof off the joint. Y'all don't want to miss it. You understand what I'm saying? And we got another members only episode coming up on Wednesday. So y'all keep your eyes peeled, because we got some more deep diving to do into this Muir case and learning a little bit more about the intergovernmental system. You understand what I'm saying? Don't forget to like this video, y'all. Comment and subscribe, because we do need maximum effort from y'all.
Maximum effort.
We need maximum effort, y'all.
Maximum effort.
And if you a hating ass nigga, if you a hater, feel free to hate on me.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
We're going to see you guys in the next vlog. All right? Don't forget to come back and holler at your boy. On the way out, we'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace and shalom, shalom.